No time. Yeah, we live.
You are
Hello.
live.
We are live, girl. We are live. In the midst of some chaos and Friday fuckery, we're live. The C.C.C podcast, The Concerned Citizens, with Godmama and the Lurker. Ooh, wait. When y'all come in this building, please hit the like. I'm going to hit y'all with this intro real quick, and then we're going to get into it. We got a show for y'all today.
Honeybee, you deserve all you desire. So fly away, black butterfly, to what you admire. Only you can hinder you from truly reaching triumph. I'm destined for greatness because I imagine that. My skin light, but baby, I am blacker than black. I got a mean code switch voice for work type black. I'm so black that my pale teacher called me a nigga in the middle of class. And I just sat back and laughed because that word don't make me boo. It makes you miserable. Don't gotta go to the circus to know it's clowns in there.
Got to go to the surface.
We in the circus right now, child.
Gotta
We
go to
just
see if there's some clowns in there. Okay.
it's the clowns thoroughly.
Some super clowns. We are on episode 3. We are on
Hallelujah.
episode 3. 3.
He's still in jail. I'm sorry.
Episode 3. What's up, Lady La? How you doing, Mama? I see
Peace,
hubby was in
Layla.
here earlier. Why hubby in here earlier and then went sparked his own life? Anyways, we're not here for that. Please hit the up like button while you're here. The title of our show today is Toxic Masculinity, the pros and cons. Because I do feel like there are some pros to what people nowadays consider toxic. And I think there's some cons.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I don't want to stick too much on like misogyny because we all know that's a con. I'm talking about some new age shit, right? The stuff that's happening today, the rappers, the social media, the Snapchat, Twitter, all of that. What are men bringing? Men bringing, y'all need 50%. What are women complaining about? We got people like Princella out here calling all you men toxic and you guys are good for nothing. Okay, we want to know the pros and the cons. Say I were to go on a date in 2024. What are the pros and cons? What am I reaching out to? What type of men are there out there for, a heterosexual woman today? What is going to deter me from staying away from bitches like Princella and dating niggas like, yeah, I don't know. What is
And
toxic masculinity?
right, and it's funny that you mentioned social media because that was a point that I wrote down. Whereas we hear a lot being on social. Well, this is just social media. This isn't real life. But we spend a lot of our time on social media, and a lot of the times we're watching what is a toxic man, what is a toxic woman, what's a feminine woman, what's a masculine man. So at some point that does bleed over into your real life.
Yes.
So I would like to hear from men that what is actually a toxic man and what might just be a man, a masculine man. Because we've kind of been on this track of breaking men down almost. Like, we started off with a good man. Then we started with then we went to who has the most narcissistic traits. And, now we're here to toxic masculinity because it is thrown around just like narcissism, just like everything else. Oh, he's a toxic masculine man. Like, well, and sometimes I have to disagree because some things my husband does, people can view as, oh, that's a toxic masculinity. Like, well, no, I mean,
Going to work all day and expecting your dinner to be cooked. He's a toxic man.
mm-hmm.
Right? Expecting you to dress modest and carry yourself, conduct yourself a certain way. That's toxic masculinity. I said we'll try and stay away from the word misogyny because we don't, as much as we want to, and I'll talk about women, as much as we want to say misogyny, it's not. We have more rights in 2024 than we've had as far as living in the United States we've had ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We
I
have
was
the right to carry arms. I could shoot a nigga if I ain't fucking with them. I could shoot a nigga that want to come in my house and uninvited.
period.
I could
Period.
shoot him.
And we have so many more luxuries as a woman than what we had even 20, 30 years ago whenever I was just born. You know,
Mhm.
we've had I was washing clothes today at my mom and my grandma's house. And she stopped me and she was like, "You got to wash again?" I said, "Yeah, having this many people, I got to wash." And I remembered she had 5 children. So I was like, "So you kind of know what I mean because you've she said, "Well, I used to have to ring wash my all my clothes."
Mhm.
And she didn't stop ring washing her clothes until those children were grown, basically.
And is her man making that one of her requirements? Is that toxic? Did she feel
Sometimes
like she
as a
was married
woman, you
to a
just got to
toxic man?
do right, but sometimes as a woman, you just got to do what you got to do, right? You know?
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, we have to find, and that's why we wanted to have these conversations so we could find a solution, so we could start finding some type of balance between partners, right? Instead of always this, well, you're not doing this because you're not the social media version of what is a perfect, good, godly, religious man.
Right. Right. A lot of people, I like to say, live through the post. People
Mhm.
just see the post and take that at face value. Live through that though. What happens
Mhm.
after the post? What happened
Right.
before the post? Live
Mhm.
through the post. I know a picture is worth 1,000 words, but life is more than that. More than 1,000
Mhm.
words.
And sometimes it doesn't even apply to you. Sometimes it's just it's just something that you need to just let it fly. But sometimes we want everything to apply to us
Cinderella
that
syndrome. I'm gonna make
mhm,
my foot fit.
mhm.
Hmm.
It's just like, no, sis, it's okay. That's not your man. That's not a toxic man. That's not don't try to paint your man into being something that he's not. Because I think a lot of the times as women, we throw away good men because we listen to social media all day. And we just have to accept the fact that that's where we are now. Instead of just constantly fighting it like, well, you need to turn it off and turn it off and turn it off. Just accept the fact that this is where we are now. This is exactly where we are. Do some of us still put down the phone, pick up a book and read? Absolutely. But majority, no, no.
Mm-mm.
And we're raising generations that way. So whatever is being put out here, that's what people are taking as
It's
gospel.
false competition. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with healthy competition, but it's false competition. And then when the men get up here, we're waiting on one of our co-hosts, Sinister. But when the men get up here, that's one of the questions I have is when you get to in your toxic man element and you start playing these women for a fool, when you start pitting women against each other, when you start comparing male egos, well, my wife does this, well, my wife does that, and then the woman goes and broadcasts it. So if men are supposed to be the head of the household and we're supposed to follow suits,
Mhm.
then what are we following, men? The little image. That's one of the things I brought up on the narcissist panel is don't give us confusing ways to go. You
Right.
want a woman at home who is modest and who is governing herself and raising your children, but you're still at the strip club, or you still entertaining a bitch online, or you're still presenting yourself a different way. And then you
Mhm.
showing your men that you got it like that. I got it like that.
Mhm.
Which
Mhm.
one is it,
Basically.
man? Right. And that's to me where toxic masculinity plays a huge part in today's culture.
Oh
They can
yeah.
It's women, it's women. Oh, you women. Well, if you're the dominant species, quote unquote, then why aren't you setting the tone? Why are you cheating with a bitch that has a BBL, but you come around the house talking about all I like is natural?
You know, and it's funny that you say that, because they did like a street interview and they asked women, what do you think men typically go for, BBL or natural? And almost every woman they asked said BBL. And then when they went to the man and said, what do you prefer? He said natural. So there's some disconnect going on here that
Toxic masculinity.
because you're telling me one thing, you're showing me one thing, but you're telling me another. That is toxic to me.
Yep.
You know, the
Yep.
playing, you know, the because they said the highest rate of narcissists is men.
Yes.
So they like
Studies
to
have
play,
shown.
right?
Studies
They
have
like
shown.
to play those cat and mouse games with you, and I've they like to play those cat and mouse games with you. Here's a little piece of bait, come to it if you don't, and then keep moving and moving and moving. And you know, as women, naturally we want a male, out a partner, a male partner. And most women are now going towards like, yeah, who don't already have good men. They're like, yeah, no, I don't
Right.
want, I'm good. I'm good on all that,
Right.
because it's too much to try to figure out, because we're trapped in this
Mhm.
space of arguing back and forth on, and not coming to any solution. You know,
Well,
if
that's another form of toxic masculinity, as far as if you are the dominant species, can we pick this up? What's up? Why is our country in shambles? Why is there so many children without fathers? Why is there so many women willing to go and cheat with married men? Why is there so many women willing to brag about tricking if men are the dominant species? Which one is it? Do you cave to your sexual desires, or are you a man with discipline?
because there is a difference. There's a difference. A
So, and
man
I
that
don't,
caves to his sexual desires and a man with discipline. To me, one that caves he's
he's
moving in
toxic.
his toxic masculinity. Very much
Absolutely.
so.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Absolutely.
okay. If we just, I say we, but I say we as a collective, just recognize that, hey, that's who I am. Wear that badge right there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
cool with it. Just don't
Mm-hmm.
come to people presenting to be something other than
No, no,
what you
no.
are,
I no, because I was told that women can't handle the truth. Women like to be lied to.
Yes, I've been told that before.
Women don't want to hear the truth. They can't handle the truth. I don't know when, because to me, you would rather deal with the consequences when I find out, instead of just showing who you are. Because you still want to bag a bad bitch. You still want a bitch. You want all the benefits of having a modest wife at home, rearing your kids, coming up in this, coming up in this, I don't want to say prison, because that's not right, but coming up in this bubble.
You've been listening to Princella, because that's what Princella swears, that being a wife is slavery. She swears
It's
of it.
But
And
you want
some
them in a
days I'm
bubble,
like,
right? They want them in a bubble over here, but then when you're with your guys, you can say gym locker talk, right? I'll grab them by the pussy. Oh, that bitch wanted
right.
it. I fucked her. Or she was drunk and I fucked her. Or she was this. But then you get home and you got to get it together. Why can't you bring your honesty home? Because you know a real one won't put up with it. That's that toxic masculinity I cannot tolerate. If you're going to be toxic, yeah, like Godmama said, wear it. Own it. But you won't, because you're toxic. And you want to have your cake and eat it too. We might not get any male guests up here. We might not. Somebody said he's gonna be late. Another person was. We might not because
They can stick an
it's almost sounding like
announcement.
I'm not here to male bash, but I'm here to say pros and cons of toxic masculinity. To me, there are some pros to quote unquote toxic masculinity. There are some pros. I would rather have somewhat of a alpha male, quote unquote, than a beta. That's just me.
Absolutely.
That's just me. And in today's day and age, you might have to take some toxic trait sits for your alpha.
You might.
For your alpha.
And you know, and I wanted this to be where us as women, we can listen and hear too, so we can understand. Because what my grandmother always taught me is, baby, you got to learn how to pick your battles when you're in a relationship.
Right.
Some battles aren't meant to be. Some battles are just meant to be overlooked and move on. And some battles are meant to go to full-fledged war about, you know. So I wanted us to be able to listen and hear their perspective on what is actually a toxic man,
Yes.
because so we can see like, okay, yeah, maybe he don't take out the trash, maybe he don't do this, but he don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, and he does do this and he does do that, but he don't do that. You know, so we can kind of get balance and some stability around
Yes.
here.
Yes. That's the solution. I was talking with King Canoom. Shout out to King Canoom. I was talking to him earlier, and he was saying something along the lines of masculinity needs to be treated like a season. There's a time and a place for everything. He said, but like, you know, right now it's winter. A masculine man shouldn't go out there with just shorts just to prove he's quote unquote a man. Hi. Hey, Reef. Hi, baby. God. Oh, Lord. Here go Reef. Give me 1 second to finish my thought and I'll get to you, Reef. Hi, baby. Hit the up like, thank you. But there's a time and a place. There's seasons for everything. There's seasons for fertility. There's seasons for femininity. There's seasons for death. There's seasons for masculinity. I think it becomes toxic when men think they should be there for all seasons, that they are the end all be all of all seasons. Hey, Nikki, hold on. Okay, Reef said Abraham religion. He said Abraham religion, God made Adam first and gave him paradise, everything for himself, a narcissist in the making. Then God made his mate. Toxic masculinity in the making.
So he's saying the Abraham religion is what makes interesting.
That is interesting. That's a good point, though.
It is a good point.
That's very interesting to me. Wow, I never thought about that. Hey, Sean the wild boy, hit the up like y'all. Thank you. So you're right, and we might not get this if the brothers don't hit the panel. I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know.
I guess we'll never know what it is to be a toxic man and find it acceptable to go home and think that you went out and flirted with 10 million bitches. And I would find that disrespectful. I would find like you got your dick hard just to come home and fuck me with a hard dick that you've been thinking about this other bitch all week. I would have a problem with it. That's just me. I'm not saying you can't talk to bitches. I'm just saying if you're doing it behind my back to flirt and be some quote unquote available, and then you come back and fuck me, no. Unless you up there constantly talking about me like my wife, my wife, my wife, my wife. I don't know. But I see a lot of men that are in relationships that are very flirtatious. They use social media as their way out for their fantasies, but then want to go home to that wife and family that's in a bubble and expect it all to be good. I have a huge issue with that.
Yeah, because again, you know, we're in a space where social media isn't reality yet. And that's a topic for another discussion. But we're all living in this space where we spend majority of our time here on social media. So yeah.
You're right. Nikki Crown says, toxic by definition isn't positive. If it's positive, then it's not toxic. I agree with that. But I myself still like some negative situations. I hate to be that person, but that's just me. I am attracted to an alpha man. An alpha man might have some good qualities, but there might be a time where he has to do some negative stuff in order to maintain his status.
Right. And I think more so with that's toxic masculinity is more of like a social media, to me anyways, phrase than something we utilize in real life. Like, we kind of more go so off vibe and things
You
like
don't go to
that.
the shrink, the pros and cons. What are the pros and cons of toxic masculinity? It's logically unsound. Mm-hmm. And I get that. I'm not saying I'm a perfect mate. No, I'm not saying that at all. I don't think I'm a perfect mate, but I know there is some toxic qualities to me I find attractive. To me.
And I think a lot of men will say, if they're honest, that they have what social media deems toxic masculinity traits. Because that's what we were on with narcissists, the traits, the tendencies, how toxic, how many of these toxic masculinity traits do you have to fit to consider yourself a full-blown toxic man?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And just because we can go to
I don't want a perfectly well-groomed, well-cut type of man. I like a little ruggedness. I don't know. That's me though. That's me. I'm one out of what, 3 billion? I'm one out of 4 billion. That's just me.
And another thing that's like toxic, because and more so the pros of it, Nikki, was more for the men, because some men feel like toxic masculinity does have pros to it. From a man's point of view, they really feel like some things that women deem toxic, they benefit from, and they enjoy it. So it's a pro for them.
Mm-hmm.
Peace, Michael Phillips. Right, but we're not being like very definitional here.
Okay, I sent the link and he said it's not working, so I resent it, and then I accidentally sent it to the wrong person. So sorry. Oh, Mayor's in the chat. Hey, Mayor. Sorry. Sorry. What's up, brother Michael?
What's that? It's fine.
Liking it doesn't make it a pro. It doesn't. But that's why I'm opening the floor up to pros and cons. Because if it's extremely toxic, I just, again, I don't know.
Because if okay, hold on, pause, sister. Because if we're going to be completely honest,
yeah. I'm not doing this with me. I love you, Nikki. I'm sorry. Actually, you're going to have to try again. Your device is not connected, love bug.
We're supposed. Okay, we're supposed to be more so listening to the man's point of view today. And so it's been 24 minutes. So, and I appreciate everybody who's kind of hung in there with us and rocked out, and because this was supposed to be a man's point of view. Sorry, I'm being a mother at the same time. A man's point of view.
Mm-hmm. So, and I agree that today's terms with social media, I'm gonna blast Daquan real quick. I'm gonna blast him because he was a topic behind the scenes. His list is considered toxic, right?
Oh,
well, he already knows I'm gonna blast him. He already knows, but his list is considered toxic by some men. You know why? Because some men don't have the balls to put out a public list and say, this is a list of bitches that can get it.
Right.
They can't do that because they have a bubble at home.
Mm-hmm.
They got the wife at home, but they'll call Daquan toxic for doing some shit they can't do.
Mm-hmm. And that's what
Daquan tags the ladies. He doesn't just put the list out. He makes sure he individually tags us. Instagram, YouTube. That's not toxic to me, but to some people it is. Mm-hmm. To some people, some of the men, okay, find that toxic. Somebody said Daquan was the most toxic nigga out here. How? Because he's honest.
And see, to me, that's what toxic masculinity is.
I'm his YouTube wife, and he tagging 30 other bitches under me. That's not toxic. That's honest. But some people see that as toxic.
To me, toxic masculinity is just not being honest in who you fucking are. It's okay to be who you are if that's who you want to be. If you don't want to seek therapy, if you don't want to seek inner work, if you don't want to read self-help books or listen to therapists on YouTube, like, just cool, just be who you are. That's what my tattoo says. Be true to yourself, please, at all times.
Be true to yourself. And I think that's what makes some of these men toxic is you're not true to yourself. You're down low. Mm-hmm. You have a fetish. You want to abuse. You want to financially weaponize. You want to do all these things, but call yourself an alpha. No, baby, you ain't came out. You're hiding your demons. Come out. Tell the truth. And if you and your spouse have that type of relationship, then I guess it's not toxic. Because that's something she likes, she willing to put up with, as long as you're not harming others and you keeping it real. Oh, I got a wife at home, but I'm hollering at you today. Right? That doesn't mean, I don't know. So toxic, Michael Phillips would like the link. All right, we'll drop the link for y'all in the chats. Please, I would like to keep this for men only right now. Please, men only, hit the link just for right now. Not to say that women aren't invited. Women, y'all too. But if you do hit the link, just please let the men speak.
Yes, we'll definitely open up the floor to the women about an hour in. But let's take a little bit of a pause real quick. Welcome, Mayor.
Everybody swear they solid till you put that heat on nice. We was taught to shine, now we looking like the city lights. Heard that boy was switching up, tell him he gon' need advice. If you still around, you still by me, yeah, you did me right. And I told him that's a strong bet. Whole team winning, yeah, we all set. And we ain't really into that if you ain't on that. Once you give me the same love, I give it all back. It be the ones you don't expect to have it.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We have Michael Phillips up here. Is that you, brother? Is that you?
Peace, sister.
Okay, it's
peace
you.
To the platform.
Right. Mayor, is that you?
You know it.
All righty. Well, welcome to the show, you guys. So I want to get each and every one of your opinion on, and we're going to kind of stick to so much of what they consider toxic on social media for right now, as what they deem as toxic masculinity on social media. So what traits do each of you think that, or actions, or, however you want to explain it, would make up, the definition of toxic masculinity?
Well,
and whoever wants to go first can go first.
I need clarification on what you mean by toxic masculinity, because I heard what y'all was saying, but it didn't really correlate. So if y'all could just give me a brief.
Well, it's very broad, because nowadays women will say a man nowadays Women will say a man that wants a woman to stay home is toxic. A man that doesn't want a woman to get her own is toxic.
Right, but I heard you
Traditional
say,
values.
I think I heard y'all say though earlier that if a man is married and I don't know if you were saying that he he covets other women or he's involved with other
Entertains.
women. Right,
Entertains.
right.
Mhm.
So if a man sees another woman that's married, I'm saying
What's going on, fellas?
peace. So I'm saying my brother Mayor, I ain't speak to you, brother. My bad. Um, I'm saying if you saying if a man is married and he sees an attractive woman and he has maybe sexual thoughts, is that a toxic male?
I would think so. Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
maybe not sexual
so
thoughts,
if
but maybe he acts on those sexual
no,
thoughts.
no, because that's where I was going next. So
Right.
if he sees
Having the
another
sexual thoughts
woman,
is different than acting and entertaining it.
okay, so that's why I wanted to
Denisa.
be clear. I wanted to be clear about the definition because um there's two other brothers on this panel, and I could tell you, I know Sword is married. I don't think Mayor is, but I'm going to tell you whether you're in a relationship or not. When you walk
No,
out the
I'm
door,
I'm
you
I'm I'm a, I'm a hoe out in these streets.
not.
Oh,
Hey
oh.
yo, hey yo. But listen, what I'm saying is, whether when you marry and you walk out the door, you see gorgeous, attractive women all day, every day, and you may have thoughts or whatever, doesn't mean you're gonna act on it. It just means you have thoughts, and that's human nature.
Mhm.
So
Indeed.
you're saying kind of like if you're listening to one of your favorite content creators and you're like, oh yeah, I have these thoughts run across my head. You should probably just keep it to yourself and not either type it in the chat or hit the link and tell them yourself. Like that's kind of
Hold
toxic. Is
on.
that what you
Wait,
mean?
wait a minute. Bring that back, because I don't think I understood what you said.
Yeah, repeat that, please.
Yeah, I don't think I understood what you meant.
She said if you go to a YouTube channel and like it's females
Hmm.
and there's some attraction, should you let that person know? Should you shade in the chat or should you
No,
keep it to
I would
yourself?
never do that.
Okay, that's what she was asking.
Okay.
Where is that line of, especially if you're married or
Mm-hmm.
committed to somebody,
The line of demarcation.
where
Right.
is that line?
I would say as far as giving compliments, as far as what you would do, it's a difference between say there's a woman on the panel and she has large breasts and she's really pretty. It's a difference between saying I think you're very pretty to man, I sure would love to grab them big old titties you got. There's a difference. That's somewhere between those two is where the fucking line is crossed.
Hey,
Does
Lurker,
that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
listen, everybody on the panel, listen to what I'm telling y'all. Every time I hit a link, when I speak to black women or women in general, I say peace, sister. And when I talk to the brothers, I say peace, brother. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that when I say peace, sister, doesn't mean that damn shorty bad, shorty nice. You heard?
Right, right,
But
right.
she will never know that because it's not gonna be said. It's always gonna be peace, sister. Period.
So would
Right.
it be
So he
toxic?
doesn't fit. Yeah, no. So what he's explaining isn't toxic masculinity. It's
Right. That's what I was trying to
masculinity.
understand
Hmm.
what y'all mean by that toxic.
Basically, the opposite of what you're saying. The complete
Okay,
opposite. You hit
I
the
got
link,
you.
hey, shorty, you bad. You know what Salt just said. I want to grab you, big ass whatevers, and
Listen, but listen though. But
Titties.
me, Sword, and Mayor, we could all be thinking the same thing when we see that
Mhm.
shorty. But
Yep.
it's different how we communicate it. So what I'm saying is, does it make it different how we communicate? Because we all thinking the same thing, but we say it different.
That's a good point. That's a
It
Mhm.
good
also
point.
depends on the audience. It also depends on who's in the room. Because it's like if it's just me, Michael Phillips, and the mayor of Detroit up here, and we start talking about some woman, I don't know, some actress, and it's like, and she also happens to have the same name as another actress, and I say, yo, do y'all know so and so? And they'll be like, so and so with the big old titties or the one with the big old ass. See, it's not toxic masculinity if it's just men in the room talk. That's just men talk. But if there's a bunch of women around, then it's like, okay, you kind of said that shit to be kind of, you wanted to raise a few eyebrows because you knew how they was gonna react, but you did it anyway. Does that make sense? It's like locker room talk.
Indeed. And I'm gonna say this.
Funny.
Listen,
Me and Godmama brought that up, but go ahead.
I'm 57 years old. Me and May are close in age, right? I'm not sure how old Salt is, so I don't know what his preference is as far as women. But what
I ain't that fucking young. I just got my first couple gray hairs. Shut up.
Young.
No, I'm just saying I didn't know how old you were. But what I'm saying is, in our era, thick thighs, wide hips, fat asses is always a plus, right?
My brother.
So what I'm saying is, if I'm married and my wife has all of that, and then I walk out the door to go to work and I see that, doesn't change the fact that I'm still attracted to that. So I'm going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to say nothing to the shorty. I might say, good morning or peace or whatever. But what I'm saying is, I'm definitely going to acknowledge it in my mind because that's what I'm attracted to.
Mhm.
So
That
the
makes
thought
sense.
doesn't make it toxic. Is it the verbiage or the action? Because
Right, I'm never going to say nothing, but I'm definitely going to acknowledge it.
You could tell your homeboys, excuse me, I'm sorry. You could tell your homeboys, oh, I seen that lady over there. But to add that thick shorty, that big busted shorty, the chick with the fat ass, is that not toxic?
Well, that's usually only if there are like other men in the room, because if there's like a series of thick women right there, he's gonna know which one you're talking about. It's gonna be like, oh, the one with the red dress with the fat ass. Like, oh, okay, that. Does that make sense?
Does it have to be descriptive physically? When you see a good-looking woman, does her physical have to be expressed to another man?
Well, listen.
Yes, because men fall in love with their eyes.
Listen,
Okay.
I'm not going
Just
to.
asking.
I'm not going to see a woman that I find attractive go somewhere else and discuss it. If there's other men in the presence of that woman, you know what I'm saying, they see the same thing I'm saying, and then she leaves, then yeah, I may have a conversation with them other men like, God damn. You heard?
Whether you're married or not, whether any of that, you still gonna have that conversation.
It's not even a conversation. It's just an acknowledgement of what I just saw.
Yeah.
They're acknowledging the same thing.
Okay.
There's no.
This is why me and Michael
So,
Phillips have never
would you still do it if your wife was like, say went, because I know you've probably done it before, went out with mainly the homies and the wife kind of came along because whatever. Would you still do it in front of her or no?
With the homies?
What?
Like the same scenario y'all were talking
No,
about.
hell no. I'm not stupid.
No. Then it becomes disrespectful.
Okay. To
Oh,
who?
then it
You
becomes
or her?
Listen, I love black women. I love hips. I like thighs. I like intelligence. I like all of that. So if I see it, if I know what it is, I'm going to acknowledge it and respect it, period. It doesn't mean that I have to to act upon it. You know what I'm saying? I can just respect it. The same way when I met my wife, when I saw her, I was like, God damn. Black woman. Hips, thighs, ass, all of that.
Come on, man.
See, y'all talking, what y'all doing right now is y'all talking from a because both of you two are married.
Right.
So, but from a single man's perspective, you gotta look at it like this: toxic masculinity. Where did that word come from? That they just start using that word.
Women.
And the thing about it is this: people look down on toxic masculinity because you're not letting a man be a real man. Because when a man says what he wants to say, then all of a sudden it's a problem.
Okay.
If I'm a man and I see something that I like, I'm going to say something. Like, okay, case for example, we all know we all know that Daquan's a pimp player, baller, hustling, shot caller. You know, he gonna shoot his shot. He gonna shoot the shots at the females in the chat room because he likes to get into the DMs. You know what I'm saying? But Daquan, like I said, Daquan is single. Daquan is gonna do what he want to do. You know, just like me. You know, they get up here and say, "Oh, the mayor's in everybody's DMs." But hold on, the mayor is single. The mayor's gonna say what he want to say because, like I said, it's a different time than it was back then. See, toxic masculinity came to a point where you stop letting a man be a real man. You stop letting a man say what he wants to say. We always got to be so-called quote unquote politically correct about things, but when we start saying how we feel because it's a different time. See, back then, like I said, you gotta realize one thing. Me being in my 50s, back then, when I was like in my 20s or my 30s, things like that, this right now would be considered toxic masculinity. This would be like, oh, he's a man. He gonna say what he want to say and how he feels about it. Now, if we say that now, then it's a problem.
Okay.
You know, like if I can say, man, God, Mom, and Lurker, they can get the business. I can't believe he said that. He's so toxic. He's so disrespectful. But back then, if I said that, you would kind of look at me like, okay, you know, you could probably get it too. You know,
my brother Charles, let me ask you this question real quick. If you're out in the street.
Oh, sorry. The link is for Daquan if you want to come up, hubby.
No, Charles, I was just going to ask you, if you're out in the street and you see a baddie, and her, I'm just for the sake of argument, her ass is fat. Are you gonna walk up on shorty and say, "God damn, your ass is fat as fuck"?
You can't do
number.
You can't do that now.
Right?
You can't do that now. It's a different time. It's a different time.
Sexual harassment.
It's considered right. That's considered sexual harassment.
I don't remember
sexual harassment. Why though?
I don't remember.
Why did we need sexual harassment?
Because it's because it's considered an unwanted advancement towards women.
There's plenty of times where a big heifer, y'all talking about bitches with big titties and fat ass. Well, what if a bitch is flat chested, front and back, but she built, you know what I'm saying, side to side, and she come up and start grabbing on you, talking about what's up, big dick, nigga?
But it's all relevant.
Bitch, I'm married.
It's all relevant to what you're attracted to. You heard? So
I'm married.
No, I'm saying if you single and you're attracted to a shorty, you go spit your game. I ain't never walked up on no shorty and said, "God damn, you got a fat ass." I ain't never did that.
Now, what Mayor was saying, that, you know, shoot, people was doing that 10, 20 years ago.
Right.
Go to certain spots, they still do that. What's that?
What I'm saying is, me and the mayor are similar in age, and I've never done that. I've always walked up on the shorty and spit my game. Now, let's be real. We as men, we all know what a damn.
You're not letting it, brother. Michael,
hold on, Charles. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this.
Well,
we all know a shorty. If you walk up on and you say that type of shit, you know who to say that shit to and who not to say that shit to.
Right.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
But so that goes back to, is it toxic? Because if you know that if it's not appropriate for all, why is it appropriate for some?
Nah. It's only inappropriate if she doesn't accept it. If she appreciates what you said and accepts what you said, then it's not toxic.
Right. No, what I'm saying is this:
So
it's not
toxic.
accepted. It's not accepted in today's time right now. Because you're not letting a man be a man. Because when you let a man be a man, you're gonna let a man say what he want to say. I mean, come on, let's look at a lot of the old black films. Goldie. Like I said, even Shorty the Mac. Things like that, where a man was actually when you was letting a man be a man. You know what I'm saying?
Mayor, it's one thing to let a man say what a man thinks. It's one thing to just let a man be a man. Because men get back to confusing my sexual urges for their dominance. Oh, well, I'm a man and you should give it to me.
Well, no, like I said, the thing about it is this.
Well, when you say a man's a man, that's why some haltering has had to take place. That's why HR has had to be put in place, because toxic masculinity. I've heard this from Shitty Greg. I'm about to blast you, but I've heard this from Shitty Greg. He said a woman dictates who she chooses as her partner, because if a man dictates who he chooses as his partner, it can be rape. If the woman says no, but the man says yes.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said a woman chooses who has sex and a man chooses who gets the ring. That's what he said. Don't misquote him.
Okay,
well, I wasn't quoting him, but right. Listen, and I asked him what. No, and I asked him why, and he elaborated. I asked him why. It is real shit.
Because the woman decides who she wants to fuck with and who she don't want to fuck
well,
with.
We can't let a man just be a man, because then a man will end up just blaming it.
Can we get a better, because we're women, like we're women. We're not men, right? Yeah. I had my dad, we've had our fathers, but so what is letting a man be a man? What is that? What does that entail? All three of you are more than, and because we want to know. Yes,
Matt. Well, first I want to ask the fellas on the panel a real quick question. Have you ever done this, or have you ever seen this done? You be standing in the line somewhere, you see someone standing in line somewhere, and you see a girl she's stacked, built very well, like a fucking brick house, and you walk up and you notice it. You don't say nothing to her. You don't say nothing to another dude who you noticing it, but you acknowledge to him, yeah, I see that too. And you might raise your eyebrows or something, or give him a head nod, or maybe smile and laugh at him a little bit, like, man, hey, if I wasn't married, even though you didn't say those exact words, you were thinking. Have you ever done that or seen that happen?
Well, I look at it like this, and this is just my own personal opinion. Like I said, a lot of times toxic masculinity doesn't have to be physical. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that it's just letting a man be a man.
It's physical.
It's not always physical. It's not always physical. It's always to a point to where you're gonna let a man be a man. You're gonna let a man say what he wants to say. But the thing about it is that he doesn't have to go down that road of no return. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We have stopped. Like I said, society today has stopped letting a man be a man, and we're putting restraints on the man to say what he can and cannot say. It's not to a point of being disrespectful. It's the point to where you just let a man be a man. If I'm going to be a man, if I'm going to do what I want to do, which is not disrespecting nobody, but to a point to where if I can say certain things, there's certain things I can't say. There's certain things that I can't do, which will be considered, disrespectful and all that. I'm just talking about just letting a man be a man and stop letting him be a man. We got a lot of men out here who have, female tendencies. You know what I mean?
Can I give an example as to what Mayor's talking about?
Yeah, because he said, my point is, I, in my 57 years, I've never stopped being a man, so I'm not really sure.
I could give an example. It's like these days, society is trying to deem all masculinity as being toxic. If a man is talking about something and he's giving statistics and facts and whatnot, and he doesn't give it all, if a woman comes in and gives the rest of it, or if he says something that isn't quite true and she corrects him, then she's corrected him. But if a woman is saying it is doing the exact same thing, talk about the exact same thing, but she doesn't tell it all, or she falsifies it, and the man comes in as correcting her, guess what? He is now mansplaining to her. So a man even just speaking, a man correcting something that's wrong, that's deemed toxic. Like if it's towards a woman, it's okay if a woman does it, but if a man does it, he's mansplaining and that's toxic. Okay. So everybody should just go based off this false information.
I get that.
Yeah.
Word up.
Just little things like that. I get what the mayor's saying.
No, I was just a little confused, so I was looking for clarification, but you broke
well,
that down.
I don't
so
think
I appreciate
Mr.
that.
Phillips, did you answer Salt's question when he said, when a woman comes in
Yeah,
stacked?
the acknowledgement. Because you were talking about acknowledgement. Like men will acknowledge it. Like even if we don't know each other, it's like, damn, you see that girl, or like we'll give like each other like the head nod, or
I
what's
won't
up.
do that. I will never do that with strangers. I will only
Have you ever
do it-
seen someone do that though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There. Yeah. There. That's why I was like, have you ever done it, or have you ever seen someone do it?
Nah, I will do it if it's my homies, but I
Yeah.
won't do it with no strangers. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Me and Dalquan do it in chat rooms all the time. We did that shit like 2 nights ago.
Oh, you telling on that man?
Listen,
You busting on him?
Yo.
in my opinion, black women are the most gorgeous women on the earth. And I go outside this door every day and I see them and I have to interact with them and all of that, right? But I have enough discipline to not, to not take it there, right? Because I'm a married man. But at the same time, I can acknowledge, God damn, this is a gorgeous woman. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Right. It's the level of compliment that you give, like the example I gave earlier. Also, it definitely can't be toxic if your woman, because my wife, she'll notice other pretty women and she'll point them out to me and say, oh damn, her ass is big, and I'll look and I'll be like, oh yeah it is. That's definitely not toxic, especially if they're the ones who are pointing it out. But it's different though there's a huge difference between calling a woman beautiful and then describing what you'll do to her physically, or getting too physical with the compliments, like oh man, she got some big old you get what I'm trying to say?
Hey, bro.
Yeah,
I don't even walk down that street. So I don't say she's pretty. I don't say nothing.
Yeah.
I keep it to myself. You heard?
Yeah, because it could cause a problem.
Yeah. I don't say a motherfucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
So did we answer? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mayor.
Oh no, I was saying, like I said, you always got to have one idiot in the chat room. If you want to take my wrench, take my wrench. Thank you. Be blessed and be blocked. Thank you very much and have a great day. Don't bring it over. Don't bring it over here. If you got a problem with me, you can always come up on my show. But other than that, let's get back to the situation at hand. Sorry about that.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
Mayor said what he said.
Salute to my brother.
You can take
Mayor.
it to his channel and address it there. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
In the words of Mayor, be blessed and be blocked.
Right.
But anywho, continue, sir.
Right. So what I'm saying is this: we're looking more at toxic masculinity from a physical standpoint, when we should be looking at toxic masculinity from all standpoints, from a mental to a physical to a spiritual to a financial. That's what we gotta look at toxic masculinity. Like, if I don't want is being toxic masculinity saying that I don't want my woman going out. I don't want my woman to work. I want my woman to stay home. Or I want my woman to dress a certain way, or
say that
my
shit,
woman, or my woman should pray, or my woman should pray with me 5 times a day, or she should not spend this much amount of money, or when my boys come over, don't be in the same room with me and my boys and all that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yep. And I'm with you on that, because it's
agree
more
with
than
that,
just
brother.
verbiage. It's more than just locker room talk. It's more than, to me, and I know this is a male dominated, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to let y'all have it. But to me, if it's a male dominant society, if men are the stronger species, if men are this I don't know, this gusto, I don't know how to say it, but this gusto, if that's what men are, then where do we draw the line at your toxicity? Because even when you acknowledge a woman, but that That's something I want to dive into another day. But that's where modesty comes in for women, where a nigga
Hey,
don't
yo,
know
sis,
what you look like,
does
and
that-
he
does-
can't say nothing about your thick, stacked, beautiful shaped self.
Yo,
But when
sis,
you out here exposing
does
it, a
does
man's
that
gonna
not
look.
apply to
Sis.
women though?
It does. But I said we'll get into that soon. Yes. But as far
Okay.
as men being
I
the
just wanted to be
leaders,
clear.
yes. Oh, yes. I definitely get on. I am a modest dressed person, but I'm also a titty flasher. So
It becomes toxic when it's forced. Say a man is the breadwinner and the wife doesn't work, and he decides he says, wife, we're gonna have sex 5 times a week. She says, no, I only want to have sex 2 times a week. So what does he do? Blocks her access to the bank account, turns off her credit cards, and says, look, I'll let you spend money when you give me more sex. That I can consider that toxic and masculine. I could consider that type, because then you're using your masculinity, you're using your role as the provider to, now you're gonna give me more sex, but it's like, I mean, that's kind of where the line gets drawn.
it is.
Well, you gotta look at it. You gotta look at it like this: toxic masculinity is a form of a control. I mean, let's look at the movie. I'm gonna give you a case for an example.
Right.
Perfect example. Did you ever see the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez?
Oh,
Yeah.
Where she cut her hair off and stuff.
Absolutely.
Now, my man, like I said, you got men who will want now toxic masculinity. I want the labels. I want the labels of the produce in the cabinets. You know, all labels facing forward. I want all the, I want everything alphabeticalized. You know, I want this, I want that. I want my towels folded a certain way. You know, I want this. That's being narcissistic, that's being OCD, but it's also a form of toxic masculinity. You're going to go by my rules. It's either my way or the highway. But you knew what you was getting into when you signed up on the team. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to do that, so that's the reason why I says a lot of times we consider the toxic masculinity as a form of physical when it goes a lot deeper than that. You look at another case, for example, of toxic masculinity. I mean, the Ike and Tina story, when Tina Turner, Ike, things like that.
Yes, eat the cake anime.
Right,
okay.
right. Sing the song like I told you. Things like that. Now that's being toxic.
Hey, yo, but let me ask you this question though: what men in 2024? Now, mind you, we older men, so maybe younger dudes think like this. I don't know, but what men think like that in 2024 though?
Well, you can't think like that because, like I said before, if you do that, then you're gonna be considered.
No. Forget about the laws and all of that. I'm just saying, like in a man's mindset, what men think like that now?
Men,
there are some men out there.
There's some men out there, but it's far and few between. You're not letting a man. You're not letting a man be. I'm not saying you're not letting a man be a real man. We're not able to do the things that we used to do 20, 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Everything that a man does now. Yes, it's a bad thing because you're not letting a man be a man. Like I said, because you question everything that anything that a man does now, you're going to question him. He may rub you the wrong way, but you're going to sit here and question him. But if you sit here,
Charles, can't nobody stop me from being a man? Is what I'm saying. So
Michael, you're not getting it. What I'm trying to tell you is that when I say you're not letting a man be a man, is that a man can't get up here and do what he wants to do without society having their form of opinions on how he conducts himself. That's what I'm saying.
Can I speak on this real quick?
Go ahead.
I think for the most part, it's usually on a case-by-case basis. Like, I understand where the mayor was going with it when he said you knew what you was getting into when you signed up for it. The difference between it being toxic and it not being toxic, considering if you get with that type of man, if like back in my toxic days, I would tell him straight up, I don't want you. I don't want you as a girlfriend. This, and that. It's just about sex. It's just about this, just about that. That's not toxic because I'm being honest with you, telling you right off bat. But if I'm pretending to be some type of other dude, just like I told you guys before, how these beta males are able to they're able to manufacture the right vibe, the right energy, when really they're not really like that. And then when you get with them, you find out they're a whole different person. That's toxic, because they had been lying to you from the beginning. But if they talk to you about what kind of person they are from the beginning, you got to accept it. Like, you got to accept it for who they are. And if you decide to get with them, then whatever happens after that, that's on you, because they told you what kind of person they were. But if you didn't know because they was lying, yeah. But yeah, it's on a case by case basis. It depends.
So I feel what you're saying. I'm just gonna say I agree with what you're saying to a degree, but what I'm gonna say is that I dealt with shorties back in the day, right? And I wasn't feeling them like that, other than the sexual aspect, but I knew that they wanted to be with me. So by me having sex with them, I knew that was only going to how can I put it? Make them feel like there was a chance or there was a possibility when there was never a possibility. You heard?
That was toxic. Yeah, that was toxic.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that, so when you do that type of shit,
I'm sorry, will you repeat that for me? Brother Phillips, you said when you would make a chick think she had the type of time, but she never had it.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, will you repeat it, babe?
Okay, so I'm talking about back in the day when I was like a teenager in my early 20s, all of that. I'm saying I was attracted to a female and I wanted to smash, and she wanted something else. And so I was like, okay, well, let's get busy. We smash and all of that. And she thinking by us having sex that's going to manifest into something else. And I made it plain from the door that that's not what I want. Is that clear?
Wait, you told her from the jump that that's not what you wanted?
Yes, I told her.
Well, you said
you wasn't being toxic.
Yeah, because at first you said you would lead her to believe that. Well, you didn't say those exact words.
No. What I'm saying is that she was believing that it was going to turn into something else,
and you didn't lead her to. You didn't lead her to believe that. She was willing.
I didn't. No.
Oh.
So it was female delusion.
What I'm saying is, I was attracted to her, and because I was attracted to her, she thought it was going to turn into something else.
Okay.
And I made it plain.
I just wanted you to clear that up.
It was never going to be that.
Okay.
Yeah, I get what he's saying, because some women, young female minded, do that. Like, they think, a brother comes to them and is like, listen, this is all it's gonna be, and she, in the back of her mind, she's like, yeah, but he's never had none of this before, and this is gonna turn him,
There's a lot of females walking around claiming to have the good, but okay. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But then I hear men say at the same time that it all feels the same. So I don't know.
So I don't so for a man, from a man's perspective, I ain't never had nothing but good.
Okay.
So what are we talking about?
Count yourself lucky, because when they claim to have the good and they don't, then you just got to get up and walk out. Don't even say nothing. Just walk off. But yeah, what he did by telling her from the jump, none of that was toxic, because he told her what it was. She decided to fall into some sort of delusion or illusion, whatever you want to call it, and start believing, oh, I can change him. I can this, I can that.
That's why I wanted clarification.
So point, they think that whatever I had before ain't what they got, and then when I get it, they think I'm going, the shit gonna change, and it's like it's the same shit.
Right.
What are you talking about?
And well, Mayor and Michael, you guys are older gentlemen, so can y'all hear me?
Now we older gentlemen.
Well, y'all been saying it the whole time. Well, can y'all hear me?
Now you are.
Well, like, as far as that go, because I've been telling people for a while now, like, women change the way they operate, and so men evolve with the way women operate. In the beginning, it was hold the door open for a woman. If she's about to step over a puddle, put your jacket down so then she can step on that, this, and that. And what happened? A bunch of dudes just start saying, hey, baby, you got a fat ass, you got this, you got that. And they say, that's bold. He's being super honest. That's sexy to me. Let me go ahead and get with this dude. What happens is it starts to trend too much and too many dudes start saying it. And then they decide, you know what? It's just like with gangs. Some of the same shit doesn't shock and awe people no more. The same comments aren't going to shock you. So what happens? Men start, quote unquote, getting more bolder with the comments. Oh, I'll eat that. I'll eat that from the back. All kind of crazy shit. And so it's like, yeah, it became toxic when these betas caught onto it and start ruining it for the people who's actually working for. Dead ass. The times change with the times.
Let's talk about the brick lady, though. Let's talk about the brick lady.
Salt dropped down.
Let's talk about the brick lady, though.
That's not toxic masculinity.
Well, can we get to this? Because I'm sorry, my son's in the background, but we didn't get this question answered. And the chat wants to know
and it
as
was
well.
For you there. It's from Tina O. Hey Tina O. It says, hey Godmama in chat. I joined a little late, watching from the bushes at work. But what does quote unquote letting a man be a man mean? Can Mr. Mayor give an exact example of what that means? That's for you. Okay, so we'll be right here. Mayor, they would like clarification on what is letting a man be a man.
Well, thank you for putting that question out there. When I say letting a man be a man, it's not restricting a man from going about his day, not restricting a man for saying what he wants to say, not being so how can I put this in the right way? Not downplaying, not criticizing a man for being a man. Like I said, if I'm going to be a man, as far as if I want to open the door for a woman, if I want to close the door for a woman, if I want to take a woman out on a date, because like I said before, dating is dead. Dating is dead. A lot of
Charles,
hold on, Mike. Hold on, Mike. Let me finish now. Mike, Mike, let me finish. Mike. Mike, let me finish. I appreciate it. So when I say that dating is dead, like I said, when a woman, if I want to take a woman out, and then you give me a list of certain places that you will and will not go to, but I'm like, well, I want to take you here or I want to take you there. That's not letting the man be in the man, because you're restricting him as far as you want to go. Like I said, take example, the Cheesecake Factory, the Cheesecake Lady, you're not letting a man be a man because, okay, this is where I wanted to take you to. But then you didn't realize that I had something already else set up, but you took so long that I had to make other plans. But then you stopped me from saying, well, I'm not going here or I'm not going there. That's what I'm talking about, letting a man be a man. Let a man be a man as far as let me show you without having to say, hey, I want to do this or I want to do that or I want to sleep with you. Like I said, a lot of times, well, just me, like I said, this just comes from my point of view. Every woman that you take out, you're not trying to sleep with. But the way you look at it today, if everybody always talking about, well, what's your body count? What's your body count? What's my body count? Why you got to know what my body count is? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you got to go out now. When you take a woman out on your date, you got to bring your history. You got to bring your blood work. You got to do this. You got to do that. And as soon as you say something to her that she may not like, then you're considered toxic. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's the way I carry myself. That's the way I roll.
Hey, Charles, you just said some real shit. Listen.
He really did.
Before I got married, I was married before my first wife passed away, right? And so for a while, I wouldn't go out. I wasn't dating. I wasn't doing none of that. But then I started dating again. And I met this shorty. And from the moment, and again, the reason we went out was because physically she was mad attractive to me. But her mental was on some other shit. So I go to pick her up. We go out. And while we in the car, I'm talking to her, we having conversations. And mind you, the conversations we had before I picked her up was awesome, right? But when I
Mhm.
picked her up and we in the car, conversation was completely different. I was like, wait a minute, is this the same? Is this even the same shorty? Right? And so
Catfished.
nah, she was beautiful. Like that
No.
that wasn't the issue. It was the conversation. And so as we driving, and this goes back to what Charles is saying. Like I opened the door for her. I was being a gentleman, and she was the fact that I was doing that. She was looking at me like I was a sucker, and I'm like, wait a minute, but did something change? Like did something happen in my, in my life? Like my mother taught me to do this type of shit when I relate to women. You heard?
Well,
So
I heard chivalry is dead, but only because women killed it.
That's true.
right. And
That's
that's
true.
what I'm saying. And that's what I'm getting from what Charles is saying. So I was confused what he was saying about letting a man be a man, but he just explained it. So now I fully understand it. And that shit happened to me. Long
Mhm.
story short, I was gonna take this shorty to a nice restaurant. We ended up going to a carry-out joint because she said she was hungry. So I was like, all right, go order what you order. And I left the broad at the carry-out, and then she runs up on the car and was like, yo, you gonna leave me? I'm like, bitch, fuck you. And I ended up taking her home. I'm saying all of that to say that yes, the way young women think is mad different than and the dudes too. Let's be clear, but I'm just saying from a male perspective. If I was single right now, I would be lost because the way these women move out here is completely different than what I'm used to. So I understand exactly what Charles is saying.
Yeah, I understand. The chat isn't really liking the explanation on what it is to let a man be a man, but I understand what the mayor is trying to say. Like,
Yeah, he
kind of
explained.
like what, yeah, kind of like what Salt was saying too. And you, brother Michael, when we tell you who we are, most of the time, men will tell you who they are right at the front gate. They'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you this: I either want to smash or not, and what I've learned in my 35 years, and I dated prior to getting married, was if a man didn't come and say, I just want to smash, most of the times he was looking into something more than that. But the ones that just came out and said it front, that's exactly what they meant. It was nothing more, nothing less than
Right.
that.
Absolutely.
So I get what the mayor is saying when let a man be a man. If a man takes you, if you're dating and you want him to set up a date, and his date as the man that he is taking you to a takeout place or cheesecake factory or Ruth Chris, let him be him. Because I know I was raised to, and in my era, we didn't shame him then, but we would have called the girls on the way home, like, girl, let me tell you where this motherfucker just took me. And we would probably never talk, we wouldn't conversate nothing ever again, you know. But this new social media clout chase energy that we're in, everybody wants to, um, I guess, have a viral moment. So toxic men is kind of like this thing now where if a man
Mhm.
takes you somewhere that's not a 5-star restaurant, he's a toxic man. You know,
No,
if a
no,
man if a man
no.
tells you he doesn't want you to work, that he wants you to stay home and take care of the kids and take care of the house, he's a toxic man. And I live that life, and I'm like, well, it can breed toxicity. Yes, the situation can, but as long as both parties stay on top of it, I mean,
So So let me ask this question: if a woman marries a man who's successful, and he says, "I don't want you to work," and the woman that agrees to that, um, what does that make her?
A willing participant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted clarity. That's it.
A
Absolutely.
willing participant. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm messing up the screen, y'all.
You're fine. Absolutely. You know, just for myself as an example, I know what me and my husband agreed to. We agreed that he would go to work, I would stay home and take care of home, take care of children, you know, and be that, I guess, stereotype you would want to say of a stay-at-home mom. And through going on 9 years, we've had to kind of manipulate and mold and bend and break and grow some different things, you know, to make our situation work. Because for people who, like I said at the beginning, everyone is on social media all day. So,
Yeah.
and what me and him have noticed ourselves is his algorithm shows him things that society wants him to think about women, and my algorithm shows me what society wants me to think about men. And unless we come and have these conversations together, we're kind of just guessing on how the other feels or
Hey,
how the
yo,
other actually views.
hey, yo,
um
godmama,
go ahead.
you and your husband is you and your husband's business. What society thinks don't matter.
Absolutely.
Period.
Right.
But there's so many people now, like the mayor said, dating is dead. And as a married woman, that kind of like hit me like, damn, people people don't even want to date anymore. And I've heard courting is
No,
dead. Like,
no, we don't. No,
People,
we don't want to date
people,
anymore.
yeah, people wish to expose each other. It's like if a man, it's like I've seen too many clips at this point to where now it's annoying. People going out on dates, a woman going out on a date with a man, and she can't believe that he asked her to pay 50-50, or he brought her out on the date and she tells him straight up, look, I just want to be friends, so let's have a good time. And he's like, well, I'm not dating for friends. I'm dating because I want to be with someone, you know. But they both feel the need to record it and then I guess expose the other. And I'm just like, why people have a tendency to not want their business to be private these days.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And it's messing everything up. And I noticed someone typed in the chat, has masculine has toxic masculinity been defined yet? My definition of it is when you're using your masculinity to force your partner to do something it is that they clearly and have expressed to you that they do not want to do. It's like how I said earlier, if you say as a man, you want to have sex 5 times a week, but she decides she only wants to have sex 2 times a week, so you cut off all her credit cards, cut off her funds, and say, look, I'll cut your credit cards back on when you start giving me sex 5 times a week because he's the sole provider. It's like that's kind of toxic masculine. That's
No,
that's
I
why I
don't think
consider
that's
toxic
kind of, yeah. Yeah,
forced.
that's full-fledged
Yeah,
toxic, in my opinion.
yeah, that's what I think it is. It's kind of an extreme, but I mean, just to give you my point of view on it.
But so to that point though, so women my age and in my age range, let me say that, um, they're not having certain shit. But these young women think different, just like these young dudes think different from us, Salt and Maya.
Right.
Um, they move different, and I don't necessarily understand it. Like, but I understand. Listen, I'm getting old, so maybe it's just a sign of the time or whatever. But I'm not used to a man calling a woman a bitch and that female being cool with that man calling her a bitch. Like that's
Right.
his woman and he calling her a bitch. And she cool with that.
Right. To add a quick caveat to what it was I said before, it's like I said, it's on a case by case basis. It's different. the the example I gave. It's different than him taking away her funds because he wants more sex. Then they're almost dead broke, but she feels the need to keep going to Target every damn day, and so he has to put a hold on it. It's like, no, we don't have the money for this. You say what?
You trying to take away the Stanley Cups? Saul, what the hell?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If it's something that's hurting both of us clearly, and the man has talked to you about it, and he's like, okay, I just gotta cut off your credit cards when I'm at work or something. Like you don't need to be paying for anything if I'm not around because I gotta pay these bills. I gotta keep a roof. Would you rather have a Stanley Cup or a roof over your head? Damn the Stanley Cup. Stanley could kiss my ass.
Hey, she might tell you to work harder, brother. Work harder.
Work harder. So do more. Do more so that she can spend more.
She's using trigger words right now. She's using
but she's right. But that's usually how it goes though. They'll say something like, oh, a man needs to do more, and it's like, oh, okay, so what he was doing already wasn't enough to you. You weren't satisfied with it. This is when it falls under toxic femininity. You need to do more. You need to give me more. Yes, we've been living nicely for the last 5 years, but you know what? I think I want more, so you're gonna have to do more. And it's like men become toxic sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes when there's, let's say, the kind of woman that just simply isn't satisfied, just needs more and more and more. No man wants to be out fighting the world all day, fighting traffic, fighting their job, having all these problems to come home to a place of peace. But it's not a place of peace. It's a place where there's another problem sitting there waiting to tell them how much it is they need. Don't be a man's problem. Be his peace.
Hey, yo. Listen. We talking about women, and we talking about black women. Right? Listen. You could move the moon, shoot for the stars, and do all of that, and it's never gonna be enough. I'm sorry, it's never gonna be enough. And for the two women on this panel, y'all can disagree with me, but y'all know I'm telling the truth. It's never gonna be enough.
I know. I mean, okay. Let's stop right here then, because sometimes
we need a whole break. No, I'm sorry. Thank you. Y'all, please hit the whole like. We love it. We'll be right back.
You need to take your ass to the room, take a time out. Bitch, I ain't about to vibe with nobody in my front seat that ain't got no positivity.
Honeybee, you deserve all you desire. So fly away, black butterfly, to what you admire. Only you can hinder you from truly reaching triumph. I'm destined for greatness because I imagine that. My skin light, but baby, I am blacker than black. I got a mean code switch voice for work type black. I'm so black that my pale teacher called me a nigga in the middle of class. And I just sat back and laughed because that word don't make me boo. It makes you miserable. Don't gotta go to the circus to know it's clowns in there.
Thank y'all for being here at the C.C.C podcast. Please hit the up like, not to cut the men off. I enjoy y'all being here, but we will not sway this conversation into toxic masculinity. Godmama was throwing out.
We're not doing that.
Godmama was throwing out buzzwords. She's trying to spice it up a little bit. She will.
There's no problem.
She can get dropped if this is what we're doing. We're talking about the men. Okay, we're talking about the men. Women, we know you heifers can be toxic, but right now we're dealing with the men. Go right ahead.
All right.
But I look at it like, my thing is this: with toxic masculinity, I'll tell it. My thing is, if I want to get out here and if I want to work 16 hours a day, if I got dreams, goals, and aspirations in which I want to fulfill, and then you don't fall within my schedule, and I let you know, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to accomplish. This is my dreams. If I want to start my own business, if I'm trying to build something for myself and build something for the person that, that I want to be with, then that's considered toxic masculinity because I'm not putting you on my schedule. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making myself accessible to you all day, every day. I'm not always on my phone. I'm not always looking at my phone. I'm not always trying to be on social media. I have things that I want to do. I got things that I'm trying to accomplish, things of that nature. You know, if I'm not getting up here going back and forth with you, or if I tell you, hey, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, this is how I'm going to live, and either you can get with the program or not get with the program. That's
or creating a boundary with your budget.
Right.
Creating a boundary with your budget. Like, Queen, I got you. I want to build this for you. We can't get Stanley Cups today because I'm trying to build you a 3-story boot, but we can get Stanley Cups after that. So
I'm not trying to build.
Considered toxic to some women. They want the satisfaction right now.
Right. See, I'm not trying to win Stanley Cups. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build a dynasty. You know what I mean? You know, a dynasty outweighs a Stanley Cup, if you know what I mean. You know, you can't get up here and say that you know, oh yeah, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl. No, he won 6 or 7 Super Bowl rings. He built a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to win the Super Bowl trophy. I'm trying to build a dynasty to where people can look at it and say, you know what? He did that. And if it's woman's by his side, then she is. If she's not, then oh well. You know, I'm not stopping you from reaching your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, then you shouldn't stop me. That's just the way.
And that's what Salt was coming back to is, right. So say you're out here building a dynasty, you want to come bust the nut and she's not in the mood.
Well, you know, then
what's your next move? What's your next move?
Right. My next, like I said, your best, you should make your best move should always like, you always got options. You know what I'm saying? Just like how she has options, I should have options.
Is as far as what? If the wife's at home, so you're out building your dynasty. She at home taking care of kids and house home and doing whatever.
Wait. Our dynasty. Don't say your dynasty. Say our dynasty.
He's out there building our dynasty. She's at home raising our kids and taking care of our home. And you come home full of testosterone. You take a shower. You got a meal in you. You want to fuck. She's tired and don't want to fuck. What do you mean by options?
Well, you know, I put it like this. See, you got to realize one thing. Y'all talking from a married point of view. I'm talking from a single man's point of view.
As a single man, are you trying to fuck just any and everybody?
Well, she's talking from a married person's point of view. I can answer that. It's all about sacrifice. Okay, I want to fuck tonight. You don't. I can make that sacrifice. You're off tonight, but at some point you're going to have to fuck me. I mean, I'm your husband. Does he not deserve it if he's taking care of the business?
Yes. At some point, but maybe not tonight. Maybe I done had this kid throwing. Okay, but
it's about making sacrifice, and nobody understands sacrifice more than men.
But from Mayor's point of view, there's nothing to sacrifice except maybe a bill to Applebee's or cheesecake or wherever people go. I don't know. I don't know where people go. Where do people go on dates? I don't know.
They don't date anymore.
I was just gonna say that men that are married, especially the men that take care of the finances. I'm not talking about when there's, 50-50 or 60-40 or whatever. I'm talking about the men that take care of the finances. I'm saying that, when a woman expects certain things, a man also expects certain things. So what I'm saying is that if the man is handling the finances and doing all of that, and he comes home and he trying to smash and she don't want to smash or whatever, by all means, like, okay, you don't want it, right? But if that becomes a
regular,
if there's a history of that, then that turns into something else. Mm-hmm. If you're talking about tonight, okay, I got you, right? But if it becomes a history, then we talking about something else.
You're talking about baser instincts. That's when the male lion has to leave the cave and find himself a gazelle.
Here we go.
No, that's real shit.
No. But if a woman, if your wife isn't giving you sex,
I'm box you niggas today. I'm not gonna box you.
If a man, okay, well here I'm sticking to toxicity.
About lion and gazelles. It's lions and lionesses.
Because you ain't got no gloves on.
And lionesses.
I'm sticking to I'm sticking to toxicity. As far as toxic goes, women. If a woman is married, if a woman is married to a man, if a woman is married to a man,
a gazelle if you're a lion.
nobody's talking about fucking a gazelle. I don't. It's been months, and for some reason you keep taking it like that. It's a metaphor.
Let me clarify.
What's a lion? What's a lion?
Clarify this, Mr. Phillips, Mr.
Yeah,
Citizen.
what's a lion?
Let me clarify this real quick. When a man is wanting sex from a female, that is what Salt would like to say, a lion with a lioness. Salt likes to bring up lions and gazelles. For some reason, I don't know why, but a lion does not fuck a gazelle. It fucks a lion.
I never said they did. I never said they did. Whatever reason you took it down that route, I don't know. The metaphor I was using. The metaphor I was using is why men go out.
Analogy.
Do you want me to explain it or not? Do you want me to explain it or not?
I've been trying to control myself, trying to be professional about this, but at a certain point, I'm just really getting pissed. Excuse me.
He was saying that the gazelle was prey. That's what he was saying.
And a woman is not prey.
No, we have this. No.
It's a game. It's a game of predator and prey, cat and mouse. Because just like the lion chases the gazelle, men chase women. Do they not? Nobody's talking about. Oh, he doesn't fuck the gazelle. Nobody ever said that. You're just throwing shit into there to muddy up the conversation.
You use that reference for male.
Did I ever say the lion fucks the gazelle? Did I ever say the lion fucks the gazelle, or did I compare it to men trying to catch women the way a lion tries to catch a gazelle through cunning?
This nigga.
Yeah, I thought this was a panel for the men.
Here we go. Here we go.
Because what I was saying when I said it, and I don't know why you keep going back to the lion wants to fuck the gazelle. I never ever said that.
We have an issue with you presenting women as victims.
Here, you know what? I'll make it easier for you guys. I'll make it easier for you. Men pursue. Do you want me to explain it or not? Men pursue women. Men pursue women. How about I'm trying to explain it in a better way? Men pursue women with the men pursue women with the tenacity that a lion pursues a gazelle with. Is that better?
No.
Does that make more sense? You don't like that?
No.
No, go ahead, Michael. My bad, bro.
The same way. Men go and find a lioness. A group of lionesses will go jump a fucking lion and get him the fuck out.
This isn't the Discovery Channel. It's called a metaphor for a reason, not meant to be taken literally.
No, we're not gazelles. We're not gazelles, so it's inaccurate. It's inaccurate.
I am talking about the attitude a man will have when pursuing a woman is the same attitude a lion will have when pursuing a gazelle. How do you not don't act like you don't act like it doesn't make sense to you, because you know it does. Why you're taking it to that is because you're taking it as men trying to say women are weak.
It's toxic.
You keep trying to take it to a level of men saying that women are weak. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as far as the attitude a lion has when pursuing something he wants is the same way a man will pursue something he wants. How does that not make sense to you?
A lioness is pursued by a lion male. That's something a lion wants. Quit using gazelle and lion.
It's just not going to happen.
Exactly, because you're toxic.
No. Hey, if you say so.
I know so.
Which one of us is married, Lurker?
You, nigga.
since you want to do that. But yeah, my bad, Michael. Go ahead.
You're not married to a gazelle.
Never said I was.
All I was trying to say is that.
But I pursued her like a lion.
And she was a lioness and said yes. And y'all got lion cubs. Wasn't no fucking gazelle out here said yes. Fuck out of here, nigga.
Them buzzwords suck, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay. I want to, because listen, if we're saying it, but if we're saying it's because that's a man views it as a lion stalking a gazelle, he stalks the gazelle to kill it.
Though? Let's get that out.
I don't know. We asked that
the gazelle.
What I'm saying
well, the gazelle has something the lion needs, right?
What I'm saying is a man.
There we go.
Go back to what the mayor said. Listen, if you're a single male, you have your preference, and you go after that preference. Period. Right. But I'm saying, as a married man, there's certain things that I'm attracted to that I was attracted to when I met my wife, and I see it in other women when I'm outside, right? So all I'm saying is that I don't give a fuck about the y'all making these analogies about lions and whatever. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Men are gonna be men. If they single, they gonna poke what they want to poke. If the women are willing participants, let me make that clear. But what I'm saying, as a married man, you're gonna be you can be attracted to someone and keep your mouth shut. You heard?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't stop us from being men, because we attracted to something else other than our wives. The man that acts on it is that's some other shit. I'm not that nigga.
Okay.
Right. You're not toxic. Yeah. No, well, that's true, because it's the toxic ones who will actually act on it. It's different from, and it varies per person. What's flirting to you might not be flirting to me. To me, that just might be you acknowledging something that a woman said. You get what I'm saying? But
Auntie, is
yeah,
that
if
you,
you're
sir?
no, because
Salt
nobody
preferred?
can. Yeah.
Salt,
Oh,
I'm
what's up?
sorry, babe. Auntie, is that you, my love?
Yeah, it's me. What's
Okay,
going
hi.
on?
Welcome
What's
to
going
the
on,
platform.
bro?
Hi.
Peace,
I'm
bro.
chilling. What's up?
What up?
Peace,
Come on in.
everybody.
It got a little heated. I don't know where you came in. But welcome
No,
to
I
the.
literally just came in.
Oh, okay.
We,
Well,
we, we were talking about lions and gazelles.
we're talking
Yeah.
about toxic masculinity, is what we were
Thank
discussing. Yes.
Is there such a thing?
Right.
Well, let us know your perspective, because we've went round and round on what is toxic masculinity. We've went round and round on where's my notes? What is letting a man be a man? And what I've written down is that it's kind of like the toxic masculinity thing is subjective, but
Well,
give us
Godmama,
your
hold on,
yes.
because
Yeah,
we need to
it's
clear this up though, because the mayor cleared it
Mm-hmm.
up when he said that let a man be a man. He was saying, if I open a door for you, it's okay for me to do that. You know what I'm saying? The things that we were taught as older men in our 50s or whatever, 40s, you know what I'm saying? That it was cool for us to do that type of thing. But what he was saying is that that's no longer cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was saying.
And I said along the
And that's
lines
true.
that chivalry is dead and women killed it.
Yeah. Word up. Word up.
Also, to add on what the mayor was saying, that's true, because we've all seen tons of videos now where women will say a man is quote unquote doing too much if he brought flowers on a date, and I'm like, really? I thought that was still a fucking thing.
Word up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like if you want him to be a man, let him be a man. Bringing flowers to a woman on a date, it's like it's an offering. It's like, hey,
But
thanks for accepting this date with me.
okay, so that's something that I'll get into right there. Okay, so I don't believe there's a such thing. The only type of masculinity that's toxic is pseudo masculinity. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing toxic about masculinity, because
Bro, break that
masculinity is
down
supposed
though.
to, and
Break
I'm
that
doing
down.
that right now. Masculinity is supposed to balance femininity. That's it, and vice versa. They're the yin and the yang. You know what I'm saying? So it's not it can't be a toxic thing. The only time it's toxic is when it's not balancing femininity properly. And the only way that can happen is usually when there's some pseudo masculinity coming from the other side, or from that side right there. You know, somebody's not comfortable in their masculine frame, so they feel like they have to omit extra or whatever. A lot of people like to associate masculinity with aggression, violence, whatever. That's not what it is.
I
Well,
agree.
And it's something that's reserved strictly for the man. So, you know what I'm saying? When it comes from either an insecure man or it comes from the woman's side, it's pseudo, it's not real. You know what I'm saying? It's usually a failed attempt at masculinity.
Yeah, I was
Because,
going to
you know what I'm saying? True masculinity doesn't have to prove itself or be toxic or be violent or be belittling or degrading or any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's going to balance the room.
Well, Ant, can I ask you something? As far as the violence part, do you so you don't believe violence is a component of it? And here's an example. It's like protection. Protection is synonymous with violence. You have to be capable of violence in order to protect someone or something. So I think on a certain level, that's why a lot of these women, you know, they're like the thugs out here and street dudes and all that. It's like because they kind of violent. So it's like, okay, this dude could protect me. There's serial killers in jail right now who they're basically as violent as it gets, and they still get letters from women offering to marry them. So do you think it's a component of it?
I mean, that's just one aspect of protection. There's also preventative maintenance when you're talking about protection, not putting yourself in a situation like that in the street. Like there's so many different ways to protect yourself other than getting violent. Now I get it. Once you're there, you're there. You ain't got no choice but to defend yourself or defend your woman and stuff like that. But I wouldn't leave that as the only component to protection. Because some men's masculinity is like, yo, we ain't going in the street. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going in that side of the street.
Hold on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, but the point is that we're there. It's not a question if we are there, we're there. If you look at these young kids, male and female, they're there. So then what do we do about it?
But that's the masculinity right there. It's not the violence, it's what led up to it. So it's the ability to make the decisions right then and there. Boom, this is the situation we're in. You don't have to decide whether or not we're gonna fight, run, or call the cops. I'll do that. So if it's my job to, you know what I'm saying, if the best thing to do right now is for me to just knock this dude the hell out and defend your honor, we gonna do that, and you gonna trust me to do that. That's me and my masculine frame. But also the best decision right now, because we outnumbered, they got weapons, I don't. We might need to run. I might need to speak softly and diffuse the situation just for our safety. You know what I'm saying? That's me being in my masculine frame. I don't have to be violent right now. I might have to de-escalate violence in this situation.
What black kids do you know is doing?
But she, you know what I'm saying? She's in her feminine frame, and I'm in my masculine by her trusting me to make that decision right there. As far as whether or not to do, you know what I'm saying? To get violent, get thoughtful, hey, get going. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we got to do. You know
so it's just a case by case basis, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, like, I would equate masculinity more so to just being able to make the decisions in those situations.
Oh.
And her not having to.
Can I say something before because I gotta go.
Okay, Mayor, go ahead, babe.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Like I said, now this is just my own personal opinion. You can take it however you want. At the end of the day, toxic masculinity is still going to exist. Pookie and Ray, and can I be verbal with mine? Can I? Okay. Pookie and Ray still gonna be getting all the pussy out here. Pookie and Ray still gonna be fucking all the bitches. Pookie and Ray still gonna get y'all all knocked up. Y'all still gonna accept Pookie and Ray coming over your house at 2:00 in the morning, doing what they got to do and get on. As long as you still let this exist, toxic masculinity is still going to exist. It is not going nowhere. It's just put it in certain forms of fashion. Women still like the type of man that a gutter. We still want the man to wear the do-rags. We want the man that had the sagging pants. You may not agree with it, but like I said, but you're still going to accept it. So we're going to accept toxic masculinity to a point to where, okay, I'm not saying all women going to accept it, but the majority of them are going to accept it. Like I said, because some women, not all women, don't take it this the wrong way. Some women like that drama in life. They like that excitement. They like for Pookie and Ray to sit here and curse you out and call you every name but the child of God. That's toxic masculinity right there. You know what
I throw a curveball real quick before you dip off, Mayor? Are studs toxic masculinity?
Absolutely. They are pseudo masculine. That's what I would say. That is pseudo masculinity, which means it's toxic masculinity. It's not real. Just like femininity is reserved for the woman. It's strictly reserved for her. Like a dude can wear high heels, a dress, all that. He can never be feminine. For real. He can never be feminine. No matter how he walks, no matter how he talks, he's still a dude. You know what I'm saying? Now, but so I don't see how a stud can just be masculine.
Well, would you agree? Well, would you agree that the studs are manufacturing that false energy, that false vibe, that false masculinity?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's
Hold
pseudo
on.
masculinity.
Hold
It's not
on.
real.
Hold
You know what I'm
on.
saying? Not real.
Fuck the dykes or however you want to phrase it. There's females that fuck with niggas that think the same way that these niggas think. So
What?
yes, what I'm
There's
saying is
some females who fuck with niggas that think the same way niggas think.
that
I'm
these
sorry.
niggas think. So what I'm telling you is that, like, y'all talking about
The stud.
the studs, but what I'm saying is that the women that's not studs is thinking like they the niggas that they fuck with is thinking. And in other words, what I'm saying is there was a time if you was a man in the streets, the woman that you was dealing with was sort of the balance. That balance doesn't exist anymore. These niggas that fuck with these shorties in the streets is those shorties in the streets is like-minded. Like they think like them niggas think.
Yeah.
Okay.
You heard?
I would agree with you, and then I would disagree. And I'm gonna have to go on mute for a
Okay,
minute because I gotta handle
you
something.
could
No, I'm
disagree.
gonna tell you
I'm
why.
telling you my point, though.
I would agree that hell yeah, the dynamics have changed over time as far as just pretty much the roles and stuff like that. Where like what we kind of define as masculinity and femininity now, a lot of chicks are thinking and moving just like dudes. Like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just dudes pumping and dumping, chicks is riding and sliding, all of that. You know what I'm saying? They getting what they can and they out. Like, I get that. And then it's stuff on the other side. But at the same time, I think the balance is still there, no matter what.
There's no,
I think
no
one
balance.
second. That's
no
what I'm
balance.
no, there's always balance.
No,
that's
there's
the
no
thing.
balance.
And then what I'm trying to explain is a lot of dudes have lost what it was they had back in them days. And what you have is women trying to make up for it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes are not handling their like basically just like you say, women are a lot more independent now for the most part. They're making their own money, they're doing their own thing. They don't have to depend on a dude for nothing for what it is that they want. And you gotta hold up 1 second, just like the mayor mentioned. You still got the Pookies, you still got the Ray Rays. Dudes are living on chicks' couches. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing going on. Like they ain't got nothing going on. These chicks are literally calling the shots, bro. These dudes are fighting. These dudes are fighting with these chicks' kids over the last Oreos, bro, and the food stamps on the 4th. You understand what I'm saying? You got a lot of dudes that done took on the feminine role. So because of that, a lot of women have tried to make up for it with the masculine. So the balance is always there. I'm just saying it's always there. We just don't like the dynamic.
Balance.
All right, check it out. Hey, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go be toxic. I gotta go get it. I gotta go get in these DMs. Lurker, thank you for having me up. God Mama, thank you. Gentlemen, keep on doing you. Like I said, at the end of the day, Pookie and Ray Ray, Pookie and Ray Ray are still gonna win out regardless. and like I said, and if you try to be, and if you go out here, you be nice, you be a man, you're gonna be considered a simp. So I gotta go. Thank you for having me up, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you,
brother.
love.
Peace, brother.
Peace. Peace. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm changing diapers. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
So I got a quick question because we talked about finances earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if a man has it to where every time you spend money, it notifies him, does that make him toxic?
Only if he's doing it to put a hold on you. If he's doing it just to keep track of the finances, like, oh, okay, this is how much money is in the account now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. However, if he's doing it like, look, I noticed you just spent $100, you're cut off for the day type of shit, then I'm like, all right. If you guys aren't having financial troubles, I can understand that. But yeah.
Hey, so I say it different. I'm like, if you need money, hit me up, put some money in your account. You don't need access to my shit. Right?
Yeah, all right.
Hey,
you don't need access to my
Hold
shit.
on, but you're married, brother Philip. You're married.
Yeah, absolutely. But you don't need access to my shit. If you need some money, let me know, and I'm putting it in your account.
Oh wow, interesting.
As far as what they were saying a short while ago, is basically like, just to sum it up, if you behave like a proper general, the woman is going to behave like a proper soldier, because men are actionary and females are reactionary. If you act right, they're going to react right. But you got too many of these betas out here who, like I keep saying, they know how to manufacture the vibe. They know how to fake the vibe. They manufacture the energy that you women that say that you look for all the time. They're able to fake it so well that you end up getting impregnated by the Pookies, Ray Rays, and Lamars of the world. These Madden kings, these dudes who you like that he a thug, he in and out of jail. Yeah, he's always in and out of jail. Or you like that you always know where he's at, but guess what? You always know where he's at on your couch because he ain't got no damn job. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. But so if my wife needs some money, it ain't nothing for me to put it in her Zelle account. You heard? But for us to share an account, no, we ain't doing that.
Wait, what do you mean? Like no shared bank account?
No.
Oh.
Fuck no.
I mean, hey, to each his own. Me and my wife, we have our own and we have a shared one.
Nah, I don't share shit.
Damn, okay.
That's really interesting. This is kind of, it gives me a different perspective real quick of you, Brother Phillips, not in a bad way, but just a different perspective as far as she needs to holler at you if she need money in her bank account. Why is there not
she works just like I work. You heard?
I know, but why is there nothing of a joint account? So you can have your private account, but is there not a joint account?
No. Listen, if I need money,
but I'm toxic.
If I need money from her, I will hit her up and say, "Ma, put 50 in my account real quick." That's how we do it. We don't need no joint account for what?
So that way you don't have to ask each other for $50.
Nah, no.
That's interesting because I'm married, divorced, and we still have a wonderful joint account where I don't have to ask my ex for any, not a dollar.
I've been there before, and I said I would never do that again.
With your wife?
No, what I'm saying is, this is my second marriage. My first wife passed away.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, I've been there before. I chose not to do that again.
Okay, cool. Okay. So, and she got her money, you got your money. Y'all just keep.
No, we got. Listen, her money is my money. My money is her money. We just got different accounts. That's it.
Okay.
Michael, can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
Because I feel like Lady La. Well, I think Lady La made a good comment in the chat. She said, hold on. Yeah, she made a great comment, and she said even if anything is used from a joint account, it still must be communication. Would you have an issue if you and your wife had a joint account, but every time she decides she wants to spend money or take some money out, she just communicates it to you first, like, hey, look, I need this money to buy this, do that. Would that be an issue, or it's just you like the way things are?
I don't want none of that. Like if listen, you have your shit, I got my shit. If you need something, I got you. When it comes to money, no. Listen, if I pass away, my life insurance and all of that's going to my wife. But while I'm living, we don't need to share nothing as far as the bank accounts. We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
May I you don't have to give details. I'm just asking why.
That's just how I look at it.
Personal preference?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I don't want nobody going in my shit. Okay. Damn. Let me figure out.
No, I get that. Listen, I was with my gentleman. We did double digits. We made it to, damn near 20 years. We just have still continued to keep. He still has his separate. I still have my separate, but we still have something together. Because
listen, if we had a business, then that would be another thing.
We started a business.
But we don't have no business. So, man, you keep your shit over there, and I got my shit over here. That's it.
Well, where the issue falls these days is because just like 504 typed in the chat, maybe it's from past bad experiences. The majority of women out there these days, they could hear Michael say what he just say and just automatically label him toxic. Oh, that's toxic. Oh, that's toxic. But you don't know the whole story though. And see, that's when the word starts to get thrown around. It starts to get thrown around all willy nilly. That's where the problem lies, because people don't want to hear what it is. All they know is what they see.
Before, and I left it there. But yes, there was bad experiences from a previous situation. So no.
Yeah. So is he toxic from wanting to protect himself from that situation possibly happening again?
No, because he explained it. You asked a really good question as far as, does she need to ask to even get into the bank account? He said no, she's got her. So that's totally different. And those boundaries have been established. That's a beautiful thing that other couples could actually pick up on. There's nothing wrong with having your own, especially when you both have jobs. Especially when you both have understanding of what our goals are. If you holler at me, I got you. If you holler at me, I got you. That's understood. But when it becomes toxic, so like you were saying earlier, when it becomes weaponized.
Yeah.
As long as it's not weaponized, there's no toxicity there. You know, I'm gonna pay these bills, but I'm gonna make sure you don't have shit else.
Hey, yo, and listen, and there's always been.
You guys want me to take this banner off? I took it, I put it on, but I can take it off. I just did that because people are on break. We have people on the panel, but they're doing something else, so I didn't want to just have dead faces up here.
I ain't tripping.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yo, all I was saying is that there's always been an understanding, but from past experiences, I've said I'm gonna have my own shit. We don't need no joint account. I mean, like I said before, if we had a business, that would be different. But we don't have that, so there's no reason for us to have a joint account. You got your shit, I got my shit. If you need something, I got you. If I need something, she got me. That's it.
And that's a secure place to come from, because some people want to check bank receipts. Some people want to see what you're spending your leisurely money on. Some people can't handle the fact that it's separate. Oh, I don't trust you enough. You might be spending money at a luncheon, I'm not there, or some, vice versa, or she's spending money.
It's not even a trust issue with my wife. It's just
I'm saying people who have a problem with that. The reason they might have a problem with that is because they lack trust.
Yeah, I don't mistrust my wife. I'm just saying that from past experiences, I'm just like, yo, you got your shit, I got my shit.
I can respect that.
Me too.
That's it.
Me too. And I wouldn't find that toxic, but I'm sure there's a bitch out here in this earth who would say, he's toxic. How dare you not give your wife access to all your money? That, you know what I'm saying? There's some toxic female out there that would find that as an excuse.
I think the route many women would take it is, well, she isn't your ex-wife. Why not do things different with her? Don't make her pay for what your ex-wife did or whatever that situation was. It's like, no, it's not about that. It's not about making her pay. It's about learning from a bad experience.
Listen, she's not paying. She lives well. So for anybody to make that argument, I'm like, yo, like, she living good. Like, what we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, you see what they put? That's how she found out her doctor was getting cheated on because of the bank statements. That's why you got to deal in only cash, or make her pay for the room.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What? She said her husband though.
Listen, if I haven't made it clear, I love my wife, but I'm saying that I made a decision after my first situation. Like, I'm not doing that no more. Right?
Yeah.
So
I respect that.
You got your money, I got my money, and whenever we have to pool resources, we can do that.
Yeah. It's about learning from a bad experience. That's what life is all about. Learning from your mistakes. You made a mistake, you learn from it. It's not, you put something in place to where hopefully it does not happen again. And I respect that.
Word up.
It's evolution.
That is, but I don't want to get too much into evolution because some people don't believe in it.
But that's
And some
cool.
people don't understand metaphors.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
yes,
toxic masculinity, is it just case by case, or is there a pandemic? Is there a pro? Is there a con? Is there what's the issue, men? Why are the heterosexual alpha men getting blamed for toxic masculinity?
because someone has to take the blame. Someone has to take the blame, and it can't be the gays. It can't be the women. So who else do we? Who else is there to blame? Someone has to take the blame. So why not the people who are on top? The people who, yeah, go ahead.
Not the ones that are on top. Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, hey, so somebody has to take the blame.
Hey, Lurker, can you hear me?
Sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, this is slightly off topic, but it's sort of on topic. What do you think about the passport brothers, specifically in Colombia? This getting unalived. Let me say it that way.
Yeah.
That is on topic. I'm okay with a passport brother, but he needs to make sure he can bite off what he can chew.
Okay, can you elaborate on that?
I think it's okay to be a passport brother if you want to travel and get you a wife from another country. Just understand which country you're getting her from, because what we consider toxic in the U.S., there's another country that might have double toxic masculinity.
Word up.
Like what was that word that they use? Machismo. Because there are like dudes in other countries. They do seem to appear to be more macho and shit, and almost even like, I guess you could say domineering to a
what was your
toxic
saying
level
earlier about black men and their masculinity and all of that? There's no question about these niggas in South America and Latin America.
Let's get into that. Let's branch off into non-American toxic masculinity.
Okay, let's do that.
Well,
I'm talking about the Americans on the Western Hemisphere that's not from North America.
Let's discuss that. Let's get into real toxic masculinity. But 1 second, I have to play this promo. Give me 1 second.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, so thank you. Go get y'all some wine. MasterFundifee.com. She got some good stuff for y'all. As far as toxic masculinity, it does not just equate to the United States. And this is something that's gone around for centuries. There's lots of men who exercise their rights to just be a man.
Word up.
So go ahead, dive in with that.
What I was saying is that Latin America, South America, the men move different than, and I think that's what Mayor was trying to say, is that, but no, let me not put that on him, because I don't think he was trying to say that. But what I'm saying is that Latin America, South America, the men move different than we move here because of, political correctness and all of this other shit. Now, niggas in the hood still move that way, but I'm saying by and large, you know, black men with professions, jobs, and all of that.
Well, just get to the meat and potatoes, baby. What you trying to say? There's niggas out there
I'm saying that niggas in North America don't move the same way niggas from Latin America and South America move.
Or just other men across the world. Right.
It has to do with the restraints that the country puts on them.
I'm talking about over here on this side of the globe. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know how.
Well, there's men in Central America. There's men in South America that have cultures that are not United States cultures or North American culture.
Okay, so what's the United States culture?
Law abiding, right? Like Salt just said, there's restraints placed upon, or I won't say restraints, but it is technically restraints. But there are stipulations to letting a man be a man. Letting a man be a man. You can't.
No, I ain't talking about what Mayor said. I'm talking about what you just said. You talking about law abiding. What does that mean to you?
Well, I'm using that as well. Here in the States, you can't just let a man be a man. That's why we have HR. That's why we have sexual harassment. That's why we
No, Ma. You talking about what the mayor said. I'm not talking about what he said. I'm talking about the difference between South America, Central America, and North America. And I'm asking you, why is it different here than it is there? I don't care. Okay, we're not talking about what the mayor said.
Let me reinstate this. Some of the things Mayor said, letting a man be a man.
Yeah, but we're not talking.
Some other countries will let a man be a man. If a man has an urge and his wife does not, some other countries in Central and South America, you can force yourself on your wife.
That's true.
Because that's letting a man be a man.
That's why I was asking him to clarify what he meant by that statement, because you can take that several different ways. But what I'm saying is that the politics in North America is different than the politics in Central and South America.
Correct.
All I'm saying is, I'm just asking what in the Western Hemisphere, on this part of the globe, why is
the Western Hemisphere is huge, and it has a multitude of diverse cultures.
So when you
well, Western Hemisphere doesn't just mean United States. If you go to Central America, I'm saying some of them. I just stated some of them allow men to abuse their spouses, and that is law. Because why? Because that is a man's need and a woman is secondhand.
Right. And I do not agree with that.
Okay.
So some cultures promote toxic masculinity.
Yes.
Could I hop in on this one?
Yes.
It just goes back to the old saying, people are only as good as the world allows them to be. Depending on the country, you're going to have different restraints for different things. Like in the Middle East, you steal something, it's okay for them to chop your hand off. When I was in high school, I read this book. It was called Dumb Laws That Still Exist. Somewhere in one of the southern states, Alabama, Louisiana, so in one of the southern states, maybe Midwestern, in one of those states on that side of the Mississippi, it's still a legal law to where you can beat your wife with a strap as long as it's not more than 3 inches thick. That's still a law. And so, yeah, it was like in the 60s, 70s, or 80s where they just barely made it illegal to be able to force yourself on your wife. But in other countries, the restraints are different. If you was to take away those restraints in this country, it would happen a lot more often. You would hear it a lot more often. People are only as good as the world allows them to be.
So, what were you asking me? I didn't know what the content. What's the point of your question, babe? Mr. Phillips, Brother Phillips. I didn't know.
At this point, is I'm just confused because you know, you were talking about toxic masculinity, and I was just I mentioned earlier that the women and the men in you know, in this country are, I'm talking about young men and women, are on
Mhm.
some different shit. And so like they don't think like we think. And
I
so
agree.
I'm trying to understand, like, when we have these conversations, we're talking from a different you know, we're talking from a different platform than the you know, whether they are our kids or our nephews and cousins or whatever. We're talking from a different perspective. And so I'm just trying to understand what's the solution. Because honestly, I don't see a solution. I don't. And and I,
Well,
and not I'm not the nigga. I'm not the nigga that, you know. My mindset is not to give up, but I'm at the point where I'm like this. What the fuck? What can we do?
well, it was a blend of conversation. Solutions have been offered. Thank you to Salt, Mayor, Auntie, and to you, Brother Phillips. Solutions have been offered as far as respecting who you choose to be your spouse
Mm-hmm.
and not letting social media guide what your relationship is. So there is some solutions. If we put standards on ourselves instead of what these little snippets of TikTok and Instagram or whatever social Snapchat or whatever. If you just truly what works for you, somebody said earlier, her name is Godmama. Shout out to my co-host, I love her dearly. She said it's whatever it. Well, she didn't say this quote unquote. I'm not going to quote people, but it's case by case. It's what
Mm-hmm.
works for you. Right. So if you and your wife
So
have
when
a
you say
secret,
so when you say it works for you, who are you talking to?
I'm talking about you right now. Just
Okay.
right now, I'm just dumbing it down to us on the platform and then we'll get broader. But
Okay.
what works for you might not
Mm-hmm.
work for me. What works for me might not work for Salt. What works for Salt might not work for Godmama. What works for Godmama might work for Auntie. But the fact that we can communicate these these differences and still have a respect for each other and the opposite sex, regardless, male, female, stud, dyke, gay, fag, whatever. Oh, yag, whatever. As long as we can
What
have
you
these
said, Mike?
conversations, well, as long as we can have these conversations, we can develop some type of solution.
Mm-hmm.
We have control on what we put on social media. We have control on what we watch on social media. We have control on what's reality and what's not. It's when people like us, you and I, Brother Phillips, who have reality going on, and we start giving ourselves false delusions because we saw it on Instagram, we saw it on YouTube, we saw it on Twitter, we saw it here, we saw it there, and then we want to keep, that's not reality. My reality, I don't have what you have. In your reality, you don't have what I have. But that doesn't mean we still can't communicate and have differential opinions or sides and still find commonalities. So that's the solution, is remembering the commonalities that we all have. Auntie was saying, listen, this is predestined. This was, or again, I'm not quoting people, but this is before us. This will be after us. This shit happens. It's how we communicate and work with each other. That's what the solution is. It's when we stop dividing and we just kind of say, hey, what works for you? Okay, cool. Because that might work for me, or it might not, or it, you know what I'm saying? So that's the solution, is coming together and not being hostile, not dragging people, not ending this conversation and saying, and firing up another live and say, you know what? So-and-so came to my live and I didn't like what he said. Fuck him. No, let's have a conversation and be respectful. That's the solution to me.
Well, that is a good solution. Unfortunately, most people in the world feel this incessant need to assert their dominance even when it's not needed. It's like, nah, we don't need to talk. How about I drag this hoe? I'm gonna drag this hooker. Like, it is a great solution. I 100% agree with you. Unfortunately, the human condition doesn't allow the majority of us to be logical.
Yo, but the other thing is,
I don't know, Brother Phillips. Maybe you should be one of those adopt a big brother. That would help too. If you became more affluent in your community.
I'm doing more than you know, but I'm
okay.
Just,
that's a solution.
About this, I'm just talking about this particular topic, and what I'm saying is that they're like, okay, so people in our age group, again, I'm older, but I'm saying we probably think different. But I'm saying for the younger Black generation, that's what I'm more focused on, and that's what I focus on in my real life.
Don't focus on it if you keep separating yourself, saying, "Well, I'm older."
not separating. I'm not separating myself.
When you say I'm older, you're separating.
Okay, well, listen, them niggas call me OG all day, every day.
Do you think he maybe? Yeah, do you think he maybe means like, oh, I come from a different time, so this is why I'm gonna feel this way? Not necessarily, oh, I'm older, so like I don't think it means as like separation.
We all come from, everybody on this panel comes from a different time because it's 2024.
But
none of us grew up with, well, I'll speak for myself and I'll speak for a couple other people, but none of us grew up with a tablet in our hand. None of us.
With a what?
A tablet. An iPad, not in our hand.
No, sister. What I'm telling
I had a Game Boy.
What I'm telling you is that I fear for
that wasn't connected to the internet.
I fear for our Black children because I'm just gonna be real with you, and y'all can see it how y'all see it. I feel the fact that they don't identify with the African situation. I see a lot more young kids identifying themselves as Aboriginal. I don't quite understand it, but if that's what it is, that's what it is. But what I'm saying is that, like, times have changed from when I was growing up. When I was growing up, there was an African identity. Malcolm X was a hero.
Times have changed, and people need to adapt. Because
not necessarily.
This generation,
I disagree.
Adapt as far as
I disagree.
Using, so we shouldn't use the internet. The elder people, Malcolm X didn't use the internet.
I'm saying you shouldn't adapt to narratives that makes you, as a Black person in America, feel like, fuck them Africans and fuck.
No, we
that's what I'm saying.
But we
We
should still adapt to the tools that are of today and that are of our kids.
You guys are talking about two different things. Yeah.
Yeah. We absolutely are.
Yeah, you guys are talking about two different things.
Yeah. I'm saying that I have no respect for nobody that claims to be a Black person in America that doesn't acknowledge that there was a transatlantic slave trade. I have no respect for them.
Oh, okay. You're right. We're talking about two different things. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And Tina O in the chat is right. Yeah, people are idolizing people like Blueface and Krishan Rock, little girls singing Sexy Red. And my thing is, when people give the excuse of, oh, sexy Red is a hoe, Sexy Red is a whore, all this and that. look at how she's acting. And they'll say, well, men have been doing that since the beginning of time. It's like, why use that? Why is that always an excuse that people will go to? Oh, these men did it. This is wrong. These men did it. If it's so wrong and they did it, it should be okay for me to do it too. It's like, no, it's not okay no matter who does it. But why would you use that as an excuse to want to divulge in just toxic like behavior?
Yeah.
And just come out as a grotesque human being.
Because some women have used being.
Hold on, Lurker. Was it Drew or what's her name? Godmama that said this, that women will not fuck with a man unless they chose to fuck with that nigga. Is that correct?
Yes. That was me.
In this country.
That was me.
So what? So did you hear what Salt just said?
In this country.
Yes.
Well, there is a such thing as arranged marriage. That's why I said, in this country, that's definitely how it goes. In other countries, I can't speak on them because things like arranged marriage still go on in Asia and India and stuff. That's what I mean by that. In this country, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't choose to marry that man. That man was chosen for them. So
I'm saying all of that to say that yes, women, black men, they look at a woman and they like, God damn, she found the shit. But at the end of the day, she chose that nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can't push up on her unless he got chosen. Period.
Right. That was what we were discussing earlier. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So I listen, niggas that are word the black women or women period are deplorable. So let me not let me be clear about that. But I'm saying that if a man and a woman, black man and a woman gets together, 9 times out of 10, she chose that nigga. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I just wanted to speak. Let me speak real quick while it's quiet in my car. I want to go to Michael's point when he said, "What is the solution?" And that's literally what Lurker and I wanted to base this podcast on, was giving solutions and not just always standing on a soapbox. Auntie said that a few days ago, a lot of people have created channels and podcasts off of soapbox drama, toxic masculinity, and it's always a back and forth arguing, and there's never any solutions at the end. And that's what we kind of wanted to give. And in this particular conversation, the solution was kind of just hearing each other out, because sometimes, I said it at the beginning, social media likes to paint a picture, and we're talking about the younger generation. It wants to paint a picture to the young women and the young men on, this is what toxic masculinity is. This is what toxic femininity is. And today was beautiful because we got to have the perspective of not only married men, but single men as well, in the sense of, no, that's not toxic. That's just a man being a man. So, that's the solution. We kind of get a well-rounded understanding that, okay, maybe what social media is pumping is not so toxic. It's just what Mayor, we keep quoting Mayor, letting a man be a man. That's just the vibe, right? And I think how we can keep pushing forward is to keep having these types of conversations, public, on air, creating your own reach out to help content, in a sense of, hey, social media might be telling you this, but this is real life. A man telling you that, he would rather you stay at home and take care of the things at home and him go to work is not necessarily a toxic man, and I'm going to go on mute. And I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you being here today, whether you're in the chat, on the panel, in the clouds. Just appreciate you.
Peace to you, sister.
Man.
Oh, I was waiting on Michael to go.
Oh, he went on mute.
So she was asking as far as solutions go.
Yep.
It's about, I believe a solution can be reached as long as people are willing to compromise. People are willing to, in a sense, know their place. That's for the men and the women, because let's face it, like I always go back to, a beta needs to learn that he's a beta and accept that he's a beta and let the alphas do what it is they do. Because true leaders, they're too far and in between now. And it's unfortunate learning how to know who really is about what it is they say, and being able to differentiate them from those who can manufacture the vibe, fake the vibe, manufacture the right energy and whatnot. As far as like just, oh, this is the solution, we do this and that's it. I mean, I believe if we do all these things, it could lead to an actual solution, but I honestly don't have a solution. I'd have a solution for myself as an individual, but as far as, you know, men and women as a whole, it's on a case-by-case basis, because not everybody's life is the same. So not everybody can do the same kind of things that it would take in order to make things better in their own life. You know what I'm saying?
Word up. Word up.
Like a man in his basement can't tell me how to live. Like, you can't give me advice.
I have a question.
Say, do these things and you won't end up in the basement. But yeah, go ahead.
Listen.
I have a question for
my bad.
Toxic masculinity. Would modesty be a solution?
No.
What, like, can you explain?
Because men are modest. I mean, real niggas ain't modest.
Okay.
But let me veggie back off of what Salt just said. That there needs to be a conversation that you have with your woman, like, because you could be infatuated with a woman and you could want her to be a woman, but you have to have a conversation with her and come to an understanding of what the expectations are as far as your life. If y'all have kids, what that is. Like, all of that has to happen. You heard? It's just not a simple conversation, right? So what I'm telling you is that when I was a teenager, shorty had a fat ass, I was pulling up on her and I was talking my shit. When I became, older, I'm like, it just can't. It was still the attraction was still the same thing, but it had to be more than that, right? So it's like, what we building together? What's the, what we trying to do together?
Substance. You needed some substance.
It's got to be all of that.
Wow.
Right? So but that comes with age. When you young, and that's why I don't blame these kids. And listen, please, Lurka, please forgive me for saying this. I'm 57 years old. So let's say in the early 80s, black girls didn't perform fellatio on niggas where I came from. Right? And the ones that did, everybody knew who she was. You heard? What I'm saying is,
I am keyed right now.
listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. Now we in 2024, and most of these young girls, they all do that shit.
Facts. They make songs about doing it and talk. Look.
So all I'm saying is that, like, my mindset is different from these young dudes' mindset. But what I'm telling you is that these young women and young men, they don't
So
have
do
this
you
black
think
consciousness.
do you think so black women wasn't given fellatio? Is it because y'all wasn't rapping about it? Like I go with the Becky, she
No,
sucked.
I'm telling you that
Okay.
wasn't the thing back in the early 80s. It wasn't.
Yeah. I'm asking.
It
What
wasn't.
made it a thing nowadays? Is it because y'all complained about black women not sucking your dick?
No, I think it's because if I'm gonna be honest, I think it's because of the music, the hip hop, and it became mainstream. And listen, I don't want to be racist up here, so
No, we can be racist. We can be racist.
I'm just gonna say that white culture supported that type of thing. Black culture resisted that type of thing for a long time.
Let's talk about that
And
though. Let's
then
be
when
honest
hip hop,
about that.
and then when hip
So,
hop, when hip hop became like a thing, then you got these rappers intermingling with these other people.
is giving head a form of is wanting head from somebody's culture that doesn't give head in their culture? Is that toxic masculinity? You heard some white people talk about it. Now the niggas want it.
Well, I never wanted head until I got it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Okay.
But then when I got it, yes, I wanted it.
Okay.
My brother.
I'm just asking questions here.
My brother. I think Michael, aside from like maybe two other people, Michael's one of the only people on here who I call my brother when I see him.
Brother Michael Phillips, period. You better put some respect on his name.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Always.
But no, sister, I'm just saying that
well, I would like for us to be open and honest, so that way there's room to grow, there's room to learn, there's room to acknowledge. Because when we don't acknowledge, as much as people want to, I'm holding myself accountable, but holding yourself accountable is also acknowledging. So when you're a toxic man, give room, and if you want to grow from that, give room. And I know we keep saying, well, I'm not going to say we. I know we keep talking about, well, men want to love and men want to open doors and women don't know how to react to it and women are becoming masculine. What can you, heterosexual men, do to break that from us? How do we get back to enjoying our door being opened?
The only way I see it happening is that if you are a male, you have young daughters, that you teach them, you teach your daughters that that's cool, that's what's supposed to happen, right?
I agree.
But anything beyond that, I don't know. You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
You can't put the genie back in the bottle, but we're not genies.
No, but you understand it's a
you can't reverse what's already been done.
Exactly.
But you can see that what's been done ain't it.
Right. But what I'm saying is for these young brothers that have young daughters, they can change that if they choose to. But the question is, are they willing to do that? Because from what I'm seeing, a lot of these young brothers don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. What should they give a fuck for? If their mom if they haven't healed, what should they give a fuck for? Why wouldn't
hold on. When you say they mom haven't healed from what?
From what their fathers have led on to them, for what the baby daddies. If a mother hasn't come from a good place, say a mother comes from a broken home, and Salt's back. Hold on.
My bad. People keep calling me.
You're okay, baby. Let me drop me in. If a mother has come from a broken home and she ends up having to raise the children, she's going to pass that on, and that son is also going to pick up on it. But when a man comes into the picture and he says, hey, I'm the man on this, and but we treat women like this behind the scenes. Oh, when a woman leaves the room, you talk about
talking about a man that's not the father?
That sounds like, do you have an issue with men showing respect by speaking a certain way once the woman has left the room?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just trying to make sure.
Let me back this train up. Let me back it up.
Yes, please.
When we're talking about the dysfunction of raising children, having a man present is huge.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
When the man isn't present and say the woman has gone through some things, she's going to raise her son to be a certain type of way. But when he gets around men, say that man was raised by a traumatized woman, when he gets around men and men have locker talk, he's going to maybe not take it the same way as if he was raised with a dad in the home.
Okay, so Lurker, let me give you an example.
Do you understand what I'm saying now?
I do.
Okay.
But let me explain this. Again, I'm 57 years old. My mother raised me.
You keep saying you're so old. You're not that old, sir.
No. I'm just trying to give you reference.
I mean, you're 17 years my senior, but you're not.
No, listen. I'm trying to give you reference to what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I was raised by a single mother. You know what I'm saying? And my mother was on my ass. I mean, it was me and my brother. I was the oldest, right? And my mother was always on my ass because I was expected to teach my brother. And my mother worked like long hours. So for most of my childhood, it was me and my brother. You heard? What I'm trying to explain to you is that the things that my mother taught me to this day still stands with me. But when I became a teenager, I was on some different shit. And again, we're gonna go back to the females. When the pussy started getting put in my face, I wasn't caring about what my mother was talking about.
Right.
You heard?
So would you care? Would it be different if a man had raised you and pussy was in your face?
Absolutely, because my father would have gave me some game.
Boom. Okay, boom. And that's neglect is a form of toxic masculinity. Neglect is a form.
I'm not calling it neglect. My father has some.
Well, when a father's not there to raise his son, it's neglect.
Listen. I knew
Sorry.
I knew where my father was. I knew how to get to my father, but I knew he had some issues. You heard? So for me, even though I knew he was a bum ass nigga, that was my fault.
You know, that's the resolution. The resolution is to get men back in the household.
That's what I said. I just said that.
Most definitely.
Ago.
Yeah. That's the resolution with toxic masculinity.
And that's why we need to keep having these conversations so we can see, what is just, and I'm going to keep going back to Mayor saying, what is a man just being a man? Because what I've noticed in myself and watching on social media as well is a lot of the times when a man calls our bluff or calls us on our shit or makes us stand in our accountability, that's when we start screaming, oh, he's toxic, and then we start going on this whole smear digging campaign of what is real, and the lines are now completely blurred because he's really not acting in his toxic masculinity. He's just saying, no, I see you, you're on some BS right now and I'm not entertaining it. So I appreciate us keep having these conversations because it allows people to see, even in their own lives, because I agree that we do need to bring men back in the household so we can have some order and some balance. And for the ladies to kind of listen and see, okay, well, Brother Michael, he every time he hits a panel, he's very well mannered, he's very well spoken, he always speaks very highly of his spouse. But today he dropped a bomb on us saying, we don't share accounts. We have separate accounts, right? And for a lot of women, they're like, oh my God, touch my pearls. But we know that just from the interactions over the years of having with Brother Michael, he never presents himself as a toxic masculinity. And so if it is an agreed upon situation with him and his spouse, who am I to say, oh, that's toxic? No, sis, you need to find you a new man.
Right.
Let's go. Let's go. And I'm grateful that this panel even worked out the way it did, because I was really ready to drag some niggas.
Yeah, I wanted to say I agree with what Lurker said. However, I believe it's levels to it, and it's both people. Men, you need to realize whether you're dealing with a hoe or a real woman, and women, quit falling in love with your ears. Make these men show more action. Make them show more instead of just saying what it is they about to have happen. Stop opening your legs to these Pookies, Ray Rays, and Lamars because they talk a good game. Make them show you something. Otherwise, this is just going to keep happening. Straight up.
Hey, listen, and I just want to say this last thing. So, Lurker, you were talking about men being, or boys being raised by their fathers. What I wanted to say is that I went to the military at 17 years old. My drill sergeant, I talk to this nigga to this day. That nigga taught me so much shit at 17 that I didn't learn on the streets. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm not military anymore because there's a lot of reasons why I stopped fucking with the military. But I'm telling you, my drill sergeant was a real nigga. You heard? Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is that I didn't get that from my father. So when I say that boys need their fathers in their life, that's some real shit. And luckily, I mean, I didn't get it from my father, but I was lucky to get it from my drill sergeant at an early age, right? Where I could put that shit into practice.
You had a mentor.
Yes.
A positive real male role model.
Right. And so what I'm saying is that young black men need that male influence in their life. Not just their fathers, but a male influence that's going to teach them some positive shit. Because a lot of these men, listen, if we're going to be real about it, a lot of these black male fathers ain't teaching their kids shit but how to be some street niggas.
Right. Or how to treat the mom, the baby mom. Right.
Yeah, right. We don't need none of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And as far as like women giving other women advice, beware. Like I always tell people, consider the source. Beware of who it is that's giving you advice. Like women from a different time, they'll say, okay, look at how he treats his mom. That's how he's going to treat you. No. Find the man who's with his mom and look at how that man treats his mom, because he's going to follow what that man does. All he knows is that at some point, his mom, especially a black woman, at some point she emasculated him. She made him feel small, and he's a boy. And then one day he grows up and he's bigger than her. He can't say anything back to mama, can he? He can't cuss mama out. But thick ass Tiffany down the street who got a mouth on her, oh, he could cuss her ass out all day long because she reminded him of his mom, but she ain't his mom. So now it's different. Look for the men that they have in their life, because that's who they're going to model themselves after. Don't worry about how he treats his mom.
Talking about black men, what do you all think about the black dude from Baltimore that did the Instagram live where he stabbed himself in the chest, stabbed his girl, and then went on live and threatened to kill police.
I gotta Google that. This is my first time hearing about
that.
Hell no, that's damn.
Yeah, and he was real with
I gotta
it.
Google that.
And he admitted to committing murders that other cats got convicted for.
Baltimore man stabs himself in the chest. I got you.
Yeah,
well, y'all, I gotta.
Yeah, he stabbed his girl, and his girl. He was talking to his girl, and he was like, "Oh, you turning blue," and she was like, he was like, "You gonna be all right?" She said, "No, I'm about to die." He said, "No, I'm gonna put the blanket on you because you cold." This nigga was on some other shit.
For real. Well, y'all, I got to get back to work. I just want to say before I leave, great show, and to address what Tina O said in the chat room earlier. I wasn't trying to throw no shade. I was just giving an example of how her husband was cheating on her by way of receipts. That's why I said if he had just gave the girl cash and told her to pay for the room, he could have avoided that. How do I know this? Because before I got married, I was an extremely toxic man, to the point of me and my wife had a conversation a few months ago, and I even told her, because she asked me, she said, if God forbid we ever get divorced, what would you do? I said, I would go back to being the way I was before, which was toxic, except more than likely now I would be worse at it. I mean, like, well, I'd be better at it, but that's actually worse for everybody else, because, you know, you can only look at someone else's problem from the outside in for so long before you come up with a solution.
And see that, and I'm glad Salt said that, because that goes back to what Crayons was screaming about earlier. There cannot be any pros to toxic masculinity, and Salt just
But no, because listen,
worse for us is actually a pro for him, you know.
Right. It's subjective. It's case by case. Like, oh, it's good for me, but it ain't good for you. Right. Yeah, all right. Peace out,
good for the lion, but not good for the gazelle.
Because listen,
pretty much. Yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about that later. All right. Peace out, y'all.
Peace, brother.
Thank you, Salt. I will be having my phone on do not disturb the rest of the day.
Now, sis, I was just gonna say, you know, at the age I'm at earlier, if shit didn't work out between me and my wife, I would just be cool. Like it is what it is. You heard? But you know,
but it did work out, and you guys are
it is working out. I mean, I ain't gone, so you heard.
Right. And she's not gone.
Nah, but what I'm saying is that what Saul said, I would if that situation happened to me where me and Shorty didn't work out, I don't think I would go back to what I was doing before, but I think a lot of it has to do with my age. You heard? Right. Maybe if I was Saul age or younger or whatever, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But where I'm at now, I'm not. I'm past that. So if this don't work out, it's like, yo.
Well then, that's all the more reason for you to maybe teach the younger generation, because you've been there.
I'm doing that.
Been there.
I'm doing that where I'm at, man. I'm doing that.
Good. And even on these little YouTube channels,
it's difficult though. It's difficult.
It is, because there's a lot of hotheads out there. There's a lot of good for nothing niggas. A lot of good for nothing bitches.
First of all, a lot of these niggas, parents don't give a fuck. First and foremost, and the second thing is, when I say the things I say, they look at me like, "What the fuck is you talking about, OG?"
It does start at home. It starts with home. And somebody, I think it was Tina O, basically the solution is just making sure men are back at home. Bring you in all your toxic energy. I know Nikki said toxicity is not good, but maybe we need a little, I don't know. Maybe we need some pH balancing in the homes, because we've gone wrong somewhere. We need a little toxicity. You can be toxic and still figure out, you add toxic acid to a certain pH balance or to some what are these? I'm not a chemist, so I don't know. You add
a neutralizer. You gotta add a neutralizer to it.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some of that toxic lemon shit and add some baking soda, and your next thing you know, your kitchen's clean. But gentlemen, I have to go. I know Auntie said he would come back, but I have to go pick up my child, Kid Colin. I got to go. Y'all seen Godmama on the ride. We have been here 2 hours and 49 minutes, so we have given y'all plenty of time to talk to us.
What's up, everyone? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I had to step away for a second, but I'm back now.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to dip. You're more than welcome to stay. Godmama, I don't know if you're able to hold it down.
I'm not, no, because I'm about to get the kid. It's circus time, baby. If y'all want free tickets, you're always welcome. I just ask you stay for the show.
Brother Phillips, I will let you sign off real quick. I'll give you 2 minutes, and then I'll let Auntie close the show for us. But go ahead, Brother Phillips.
No, I definitely appreciate you, Sister Lurker, my sister Godmama, and the brother Auntie. Listen, please do more of this, because I love this type of conversation. You heard?
We are.
So absolutely, but I appreciate you, and I'll tap in later on next time you come live. You heard?
Thank you.
Thank you for your input today, Brother Michael. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Many
sister.
blessings. Many blessings. Peace. All right, Auntie, thank you for hitting the link. Sorry, we kind of didn't get to mingle as much, but
I was just wrapping up the work day. I hadn't quite finished. I had a little bit of downtime, and I just had to finish things up. I wish I could have been there, been up here a little bit longer. But hey, the little bit of time I was here, it was enjoyable. I would love to come back and maybe get into some of those conversations again.
Well,
definitely fun.
Expound. You had started a little bit, but before you go, what is your definition of a toxic man?
I mean, a toxic man. I mean, a toxic man is a toxic man. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you're a man and you're toxic, that makes you a toxic man. Just like if you're a woman and you're toxic, that makes you a toxic woman. But I don't think there's a such thing as toxic masculinity at all. True masculinity is never going to be toxic. It's going to be the right balance to femininity.
And I loved that input. I really did. I love that you said a man doesn't always have to be loud and argumentative, or he doesn't always have to fight. I did enjoy that piece. So thank you, Auntie, for coming through. I hope you come back.
No, absolutely. Thank you. Whenever, just send me a link. Let me know. I'll do the best I can if I'm available. Appreciate y'all though. Thanks for having me up.
Salute. Peace.
Please. Always
thank
a pleasure.
Thank you, Auntie, for coming through.
No, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Peace. I'm going in and out of service, so sorry if I'm kind of like.
And mine's kind of lagging.
Am I good now? Is my service okay?
Yes, and I'm kind of lagging because my service is crap. Okay. But all right, thank you, Godmama. Any last words you have while you have service? Can you hear me?
No. So I just had. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just basically what I said. This conversation was a well-rounded point of view. And I like how Auntie kind of finished it out with, toxic masculinity is kind of like this thing that's made up. Because I feel like we are making up a lot of it. But again, shout out to each and every one of you who were here today, who rocked out with us. And we'll see y'all when we see y'all. But definitely we'll see y'all next Friday.
Peace.